see what's going on here.
The great Wooga Wooga with all
What's up, y'all? Can you guys hear me okay? Soundcheck crew, let me know. Can you hear me okay? Best way to start the show, right? Big up Rude Boy Soldier. That's the homie right there. He's going to be on in like 4/17. He's going to be on. And it's not his birthday. He knows what I'm talking about. I thought it was for his birthday. What's up, man? Like Deeps, thank you so much for letting me know. Appreciate that. Let me get everything sorted here. It is kind of a, speaking of Man Like Deep, it is kind of a mini knob crew situation. Small knob. So let me get it all set up here real quick. Word up. Exclamation point Zoom in the chat if you want to join this party. Please, somebody hang out with me. I would really love it. Not, I'll sit here and talk to you. It's okay. Used to it. What happened in the Discord? I got messages waiting for me. Okay. All right. Perfect. Got it. Okay. Boom. Okay. Yes, anybody who wants to jump in the Zoom, exclamation point Zoom in the chat, please. That would be great. We're going to be talking about some new stuff for the streaming nerds. If it's your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. Basically, Wednesdays on the 916 Junglist Channel. First of all, the 916 Junglist Channel streams 3 times a week. Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. 3 completely different shows. Friday is called Taco Rewind. It's the one night a week where I DJ. I play whatever the hell I want, including lots of drum and bass. And I have a good time with it. And we have a blast. Saturdays is Inside the Ride. And this Saturday, we have an all-producer showcase of Inside the Ride. I'll have the full lineup for you on that in just a few. And then Wednesday, that leaves today, whatever it is in your area. Wednesdays at 6:16 p.m. Pacific, we do DJs Not DJing. The title explains it all. It's a bunch of DJs sitting around not DJing, having a laugh, talking shop. Story goes like this. If you've heard it, you've heard it. If you haven't, you have it. See, back in the day, back in 1990 till 2000, I was the person across the record store counter. First of all, if you remember record stores, you're in the right place. I was the person across the record store counter that scoffed at everything you bought. I thought it was rubbish. And lo and behold, that era disappeared once the digital revolution happened. And when that happened, well, the record store day kind of closed down. People didn't go to the record shop anymore. For those that don't know, we used to hang out at the record shop. In fact, it was like our barber shop in a lot of ways, right? And so we did this thing where we would go hang out, listen to new music. I'm telling the story terribly today. We would listen to new music, talk some shop, talk some tech, clown each other a little bit, jab each other in the arm a little bit, and influence each other on music that we may not have heard from all genre types. This was a genre-free experience. And just as much as we like talking about music that we love talking about music we didn't love. That sounds familiar. And it was a good time. So DJs Not DJing is trying to embody that in Twitch in a lot of ways. All right, let's bring them in. Green room, I see you sitting there. Let's go. Librarian and Man Like Deep are coming in. If you want to join the party, we sit around, we talk some shop every single Wednesday. Exclamation point Zoom in the chat right now, and we'll get this thing rolling. They're getting their audio connected. Man Like Deep coming in. Librarian coming in.
Check.
There you is. I hear you. I see you. Perfect. Outstanding.
Wicked.
Man Like Deep, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I thought it's rare for me to pop in on a Wednesday.
Yeah,
but
seriously.
I saw you as we say, on your Jack Jones, on your owns. So I thought I'd pop in, but we got my boy Librarian here as well. Big up, bruv.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good to see you. Good to see you, man.
So
man, it's
Deep,
all
real
shiny
quick,
out there.
I wanted to make a point of this, and it's actually in my notes, so it's a good thing that you're in the Zoom today. Something that you've been doing lately has been really awesome, in my opinion. And it's something that you've been doing on your show, and that is your casual way of showcasing us. You know, it's doesn't have to be a Kardashian. It can be one of us, and we can celebrate ourselves like like we celebrate the Kardashians. It doesn't have to be a celebrity. And I see you doing that with us. And I want to applaud you for that, because that's something that I want to do here on this show as well. And I feel like you're championing that in a lot of ways, because
Thank you, man.
you're able to break beyond, you know, the DJ thing and talk to everybody. And it's super awesome getting to know everybody who's been coming through this scene, I guess we can call ourselves, or community, or whatever it is. So I've been really enjoying your shows lately, where you have folks on, and even if it's not like a formal interview, in some ways it is, in some ways it isn't, and even in times when it's not, you learn a lot about your guests just from the casual conversation, just from like what you've been doing lately, where you kind of peek on somebody else's stream and have a good laugh together, and everybody is supporting each other, right? And so, any case, I wanted to applaud you for that, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man,
for doing that. Super.
I'll tell you. You know me. I'm not on. I'm not on here. Given the time, actually, I actually asked my wife permission if I could jump on, but I will talk about it. And we can get into actual topics that you got planned, but I can talk about some of the thinking behind the guests that we've had on our stream, given that it's Wednesday and it's DJs Not DJing. I can talk a little bit about.
I'd love to hear it. That's very relevant to this show, obviously. The people
I'm wildly curious.
Okay, so from the librarian has been interviewing people too, so we're kind of getting into this and kind of exploring. I'm enjoying it, and maybe you might have some insights as well, bruv. But
yeah, we're gonna get heavy with librarian in a little bit for sure.
Wicked. I'll big up Kevin, man. So I'll tell you. Me and Airstrike were having a conversation about 2 months ago. And we're talking about the pros and cons of a chat show where you would naturally want to find headline guests.
Right.
You would just try and kind of level up every time. Well, I managed to get Billy Lane on. So now I can get Billy Lane. Maybe I can try and get Machete, or kind of people in your peer group.
Trying to go full Letterman.
Full Letterman.
Full Fallon. Yeah, exactly.
Full Fallon.
Right.
Exactly. Just try and level up. And I would have friends say, you should try and get John B come on, and people like think about people like that, and the issue that I had, and I was talking to Mike about it, and is that it's almost like you're setting yourself up for needing to have that guest and that headliner to bring in people, and it without them you are stuck. And so you're just having to battle to just keep finding a better guest, a bigger guest. Mm-hmm. And the problem is, I don't really care too much about these names that are being thrown around. I'm just not interested in them. I do like Kevin, for example. He's in the Zoom. I like Kevin. I enjoy what he does. He makes me laugh. I love what he's done for me as well. So I consider him a friend. So I'm like, I just need him on.
He's all right.
I like him. He's all right. So as a result, because everything's pretty chill and casual, it's not like there's a massive pressure for a guest to have to perform, or for me to be like, look, you have to come because we have this. It's just crew. It seems like Twitch crew, everyone's friends. There's less pressure, I think, and I feel better about it because I'm not doing it with a strategy of trying to get increased numbers. And I was talking to someone outside of our circle, that's well outside of the drum and bass circle, who I like a lot, and I was talking to her, and I was saying, honestly, this seems like a play, like I'm trying to get your 20,000 followers in. But honestly, I just like what you do. And if you're interested, you come on. If not, no problem. But it's you I want because I like you and your interesting personality. And I'm really keen to make sure that remains because it keeps me interested. And it doesn't really matter. I mean, to me, it doesn't matter if 30 people are watching or 10 people or 100 people after a few raids. As long as I'm able to kind of have a laugh with the guest and anyone in the chat comes away knowing a little bit extra about them, then I'm happy, and it feels like a good way to celebrate. So I'm happy about that, man. It's working out okay right now. I'm enjoying it.
Well, good on you for coming to that conclusion the way that you did. I feel like from personal experience, I learned a similar lesson. Oh, we just got raided. Who just raided us? Joshua Carl raiding in. What up,
Yes,
Joshua Carl?
Oh my God.
With a massive raid. Okay, we
Wow.
need to stop for a second and explain what's going on, because Joshua Carl was just playing a bunch of party jams. And so we just went from a DJ show and pumped the brakes straight into a talk show. And so the first thing I want to do is say, welcome, Raiders. I appreciate you being here. Please stick around, especially if you enjoyed the tech in Joshua Carl's stream, because that's a lot of what we're going to be talking about today, including having Joshua Carl on the show. I'm sure he prepped you for that as well. He's a great DJ and an excellent host. Also, an amazing designer, and one of the gurus when it comes to stream tech and being on the forefront of what's happening right now in stream software and hardware. So Joshua Carl, a very valuable asset on this panel, and he's going to be coming in to the show in just a minute. Welcome, Raiders. This is called DJs Not DJing, and we're sitting around talking shop, and right now we're talking with Man Like Deep. And Deep was just explaining his strategy when it comes to, or his motivation when it comes to the approach that he's had on interviewing his guests lately. And to recap briefly, you were saying that you enjoy having the focus be more about those that you're genuinely interested in, regardless of their celebrity status. Because first of all, it creates a more casual environment for you, a less stressful environment for you, but also it's something that you genuinely want to showcase. Am I nailing that for you?
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it's great that you came to that conclusion, because I had to come to a similar conclusion, but it took a lot longer. For a while, 916 Junglist was all about trying to get the big tour. We were trying to get that, big name at the top of the flyer in the big font. And we couldn't always get it, but we tried a lot. And it wasn't just the 916 Junglist crew. It would be 916 Junglist hosting a room at a big rave. So now we have a budget from this bigger promoter that's going to give us, money for a headliner. Or it was other crews in town, big up Drop Heavy and Corrosive and Grimy, who all put, their pockets on the line and hoping that, a turnout would happen to at least break even on an event for talent that we honestly couldn't afford, right? And so we learned over the financial hit more than anything. That's a real quick convincer, right? After losing thousands of dollars on a party, you learn real quick, well, what cost us that much money and how can we fix this? And so a lot of our attention became like, look, this is the size of the party. This is the size that our crowd usually is. We're going to get a venue half that size and pack it, and we're going to showcase ourselves. We're going to put our own names at the top of the flyer in big font, and we're going to celebrate ourselves, and we're going to celebrate the crowd, and we're going to celebrate those who've been coming out here for the last decade and supporting no matter who's on the lineup, right? Yeah. And once we crossed that threshold, I'm telling you, two really good things happened. One, that stress you're talking about, I had that stress too. That stress went away, and it was amazing. And two, the thing that you wanted all along actually had more fire behind it now. The idea of building a scene, building a community, and everybody supporting each other actually happened more when the attention wasn't on, A-list headliner at the top of the flyer, but more on, I like this event, I feel like I'm a part of this event, and I want to support it for that reason, right? And so good on you for coming to that conclusion. And that was a hard lesson learned for the 916 Junglist events for sure.
Don't want to hold the mic for too long on this, but I want to say something. Something occurred to me, and it's similar. It's just triggered something that reminded me of this week or last week when Hospital Records came on to Twitch, and a few of us were posting that they were on. Obviously, it's a notable thing when Hospital Records comes on.
They're a flagship.
You know what struck me? What struck me was that, and I don't. This is no disrespect to anyone that posted about Hospital. Why wouldn't you? Right? It's cool. It's really cool, and they're a big name, a big label, and they bring a lot of people. And Kevin's looking at me really hard now, but I was like, it's funny, isn't it? We don't need them. It's funny how we don't need them lot. Right. It's funny how we made our own thing here. We definitely don't need them lot. Them lot, we don't need to even feel validated on Twitch. I mean, forget that anywhere else, but on Twitch, we don't need anyone's validation at all. And of all the brand name mans that have come through on Twitch, it's L Double's really the only one that's really got Twitch in my mind. He's understood how community and connections work, and he's made friends with everyone, like I have with you and you have with everyone else.
There's something special happening in Brazil too, IMO. I think there's something special happening in Brazil.
Oh, wicked. Big up Golden Child and that connection as well. Yeah. So I would hope that people like your Doc Scotts, and I think John B to a point, but your Doc Scotts and your hospitals and your rounds, when they come through, it's not just playing and kind of tight lips, play out and leave. There's got to be some engagement. I hope they understand that. Otherwise, they've missed the trick, and we certainly feels like we certainly don't need them to validate what we're doing on Twitch. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of in relation to kind of what you were talking about, that realization with your thing.
In the same respect, I'm not militant against them. Man. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's funny that you brought that up, because I got DM'd on the side about it when they went live, and my immediate reaction was, oh, it's nice. They finally came to the party.
That's right.
You know, and I mean, I'm a huge fanboy for, you know, anything that London Electricity has touched. I mean, Tony Coleman and his podcast were amazing.
The Live Gravy DVD. So
but
good.
You know, it's like they own YouTube. You know, they had the podcast game on lock, and the mere fact that they waited so long to jump on Twitch, it was kind of surprising for being a label that has been pushing the game. You know, a lot of there's like getting the words out in any different way.
They seem to be what you're getting at is sort of have a reputation of being a front runner in new media, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so, go ahead.
They treat Twitch just like YouTube. It was just like, because they've been on Twitch before, like I'd been following them. That's how I knew when they came on. Mm-hmm. And they still just treat it like, here's an event, watch it. And like the best part about watching it was like, I'm in the chat with Charlie Eon and like all of us, you know, like that still is like the best part about them being on Twitch was me chatting with the people that I really like. You know?
Right. Yeah, I remember when we saw like a feature event on the Beatport channel, and a crew of us got kicked out of the chat for spamming emotes and stuff. Because that's normal for us, but Beatport wasn't having it. I know Deep was there for that.
Yeah. Timed out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you know, and I don't expect, like, I don't have an expectation for those cats, and honestly, and I don't have any beef. Obviously, none of us do, right? No. I think it's great that the big guys are coming over and seeing what's going on, and I think it's great that a lot of them are starting to get it in their own way too. I see John B's having a great time with production, and building his community out on Twitch in a legit way. In fact, he's already started. You know, he's killing his restreams and starting to change his. The rhetoric to drive traffic to Twitch instead of him being broadcasting on any and every option now. He's changed to say, come to my Twitch, right? And so I see him getting the community benefits that happen on this platform. I see Marky is an amazing performer, and he's built for this platform. I think he's great on Twitch. Yeah. And obviously L Double, man. L Double, I think he, like Deep was saying, he gets it. He is building a community. He's on the grind. He's finding his lane. You know what I mean? And he's developing his value as why should I go to Flex D&B TV if I didn't know the legend of L Double? Like, why does it matter, right? And he's defining himself. He's answering that question, right? And I think that's brilliant. Like the guy, he understands it, in my opinion. Which is dope. We got some alerts rolling. I see the emotes flying behind me.
What's
Stitch
also
Jones, 9 months at tier
Marky,
1. That's what's up. Go ahead.
What's also interesting about Marky is that him and Slipmat teamed up, and they're a part of the DJ Hub, which is it's a Monday. I think it's like 2 p.m. East Coast time. Open Zoom. and it's DJs Not DJing, more or less.
Mhm.
I mean, they had DJ Rap on the other day, and unfortunately I missed it. But it was like, when I saw that happening, I was like, that's cool. Why aren't you also adding that to your Twitch?
Right.
You know, why aren't you bringing that aspect, you know, to the game here?
The more that I learn, because I don't consider myself an expert in this at all, but I have been paying attention to what succeeds on this platform. I look at the folks that are like the top dogs on this platform, and I look at, I'll compare myself to those cats, personality wise and production wise, in a lot of ways. Not numbers wise, obviously, it's a whole different game that they're in, but just like one thing that I took away, I could tell you this, in the last week, one thing that I took away is I come off like I'm wound up a little too tight on Wednesdays. Like, because in the back of my mind, I want to keep a schedule. I want to keep things flowing. I want to keep things relevant. I want to stay on topic and things like that. And I kind of come off a little bit wound up. And it would be better if I just like would take a rip of Jameson and, you know, sit back and just enjoy this time that we're all having together in a lot of ways, right? And I think that's something I'm going to start working on a lot, you know, this week. Honestly, it's something I told myself to work on this week, is to just chill out a little bit. You know, don't try to force it so much.
That's why I'm here, Billy. The comedic relief. I'm just kidding. How are you?
Actually, I want to jump on
On radio, they call you Chair 3, the comic relief.
guys. I want to jump on Man Link Deep for a second,
Ooh,
because
can I watch?
yeah, always.
Okay.
No, it's with that focus on the channel, or on Twitch in general. I absolutely adore that. I adore what you do. I adore what Curly Roller does. What, you know, Billy Lane does here myself. When I jumped into the interview game, my whole focus was DC. Let's keep it DC, and let's bring DC to you all. And it's also because, very quietly in the back of my own brain, I'm building that serial killer history book, because one day I want to write the book on it and do the whole damn thing from all these audio stories.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, so we'll see where it all rolls.
It feels like
Stevie
like
V, what up, man? Thanks for writing in. Go ahead. Sorry.
It feels like if passion or a passion project isn't a large part of what you're doing on stream, it's eventually going to kind of start hurting you in the end. It's going to be a drag. And it right now it feels even more so. And again, Mike Airstrike, shout out Mike Airstrike if he's in the chat. But he keeps reminding me how important it is to just remember why I started streaming. It's to have a laugh and to really kind of get a lot out of it personally first. And if I'm not, and if I'm focusing on anything outside of it, so to Ocean's point, I haven't got that kind of dream, kind of passion project in mind. And eventually it's going to show up. It's going to be a bit of a drag. It's going to be horrible. And there's been moments I've been gone down the wrong lane a bit. And then people like yourself, Airstrike, Catch, kind of remind me. Do you know what I mean? So I like that, bruv. I look forward to that book, man. I do.
Oh, by the way, dude, what's your shirt size?
Airstrike.
What's my shirt size?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you caught my show the other day, it'd be an extra large. It's probably a large on a good day.
All right, so I'll send you that large. No worries.
Oh my days. Big up, bruv.
No worries.
Remembering your why.
Your
Remembering
Fader, how
your
you doing,
why.
man? I haven't been able to say hi yet.
Sorry.
I haven't been able
hi.
to say hi yet. Fader,
I know.
how are you doing?
I couldn't. I'm like, if we're being brutally honest, I'm not well.
Okay.
I just had to go through like some personal family shit that I wasn't really prepared to do today, but it's kind of sent me back in my head a little bit.
Yeah,
but,
you're not streaming right now.
Yeah, I'm not streaming right now. I wanted to be here with you guys because I needed the moment of levity. Usually streaming does that for me, and I know, and that's been my why, you know, to kind of come full circle with that like initially I started streaming for me, and then I started because I needed the escape, and I could see that other people needed it too, and then it became more about other people and stuff too, providing, you know, an escape, a service, entertainment, or whatever that is, and then, you know, then I too have those times of where my why gets clouded. You know, what am I doing here? Why am I here? Why am I not? And then my why changes. Why am I not doing as good as someone else? Why haven't I done this yet? Why? But that's not my original why, and I struggle with that. And yeah, that's so. Today's been, today's been a rough day, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow. So I'm gonna be like in and out prepping for what I'm doing, what I got cooking tomorrow, as well as the weekend. It's coming up on my 1 year. I mean, it's everybody's 1 year because it's fucking since the pandemic.
Did you see CT's tweet about
that?
that?
I did, and I responded back to him. I said, nope. I said, stop by my stream on Friday because it's going to be my 1 year.
Oh, I should find it. CT tweeted, Cleveland Terry, friend of the show, tweeted earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, and he said, happy 1 year anniversary to everybody because you all started at the same time and everybody seems to be celebrating this week.
Right. Well, I did like want to pull out full flex and be like, well, actually, I've been streaming DJ sets pre-pandemic, but like,
Friday, right?
Consistently DJing on Friday nights since the pandemic it'll be 1 year, but tomorrow is going to be different and fun.
Vader, can I just say, brother, you know what? Yeah, you could have easily decided not to come on. Maybe you didn't want to be social, but I'm glad you're here, bruv.
Yes, I need it. I need to talk with like some cool people to like let some shit go. You know what I mean? Like I'll have a shot, I'll have a laugh, and I'll be here to learn something or give some information, and that's what I love about this show is it is informative to those that want to come and learn something, but it's like in a non-cheesy fucking way. And I need non-cheese in my life. I need real, true, authentic people in my life.
Yeah, no bullshit on this show for sure.
And right, and then like this is where you find it.
We got you, Fader. No worries.
Big up, man.
Right Ocean Island, the house librarian. How you doing, my friend? Coming all the way from the DC area, repping tough. Tough.
I did there? I saw that. I've been gone for a week, and you know what? Going back to the whys, take some damn time off and go sit in the woods and not look at not have a phone. It was amazing. And then I came back and I
for a week
bought for a week. I unplugged for a whole damn week. It was amazing. I left my phone in the glove box. It was everything. And then I came back with a vengeance and I bought myself a goddamn PC and it arrives tomorrow. And so this Mac boy gets to figure out how to operate a PC. So I
right when OBS is getting custom browser docs,
he knows. Oh, we're going to talk about it too.
No, trust me, it happened, and I've been adding transitions, all sorts of sweet stuff to it. I'm like, damn it, why did I just spend all that money?
Careful though. Yeah.
So I can't run LioranBoard. How you say it?
LioranBoard.
LioranBoard. Yeah. I always trip up on that.
Billy puts an extra I in there, and I
do. I call Liorian.
LioranBoard. Like, it's cute.
I'm really excited.
Liorian.
I just
he
don't want to
thinks it goes
it.
88 miles per hour. He's gonna start calling a DeLorean board.
Where's the flux capacitor on this bitch? Let's go.
Understand the reference.
You don't understand.
You got it.
You ain't never seen it. You ain't never seen it. Oh, you've seen it. Oh, okay.
Deep seen it, y'all. Deep seen it.
Yes. Oh my goodness. All right. Yes.
That's a new hotness. I'm telling you. That's that show.
Entity, how you doing, my friend? Entity coming all the way from about 10 miles away from where I'm sitting. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Yeah. Chilling. Man, my allergies are killing me.
Oh.
The worst thing about a mustache is when you have a runny nose. It's terrible. I gotta get rid of this. I don't know how you deal with that.
Flipping the snot stories, bruv. Snot stories.
Yeah.
It's crumbs.
Just wait till you have to wear a mask and you have it.
That's right.
Yeah, the trees are jizzing all over the air in Sacramento right now. It's no joke. Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know if it's because I don't leave the house that much anymore. It's not bothering me, or maybe it's just not here yet in the the Northeast. But I mean, shit's it's been beautiful weather the last few days. And my daughter's like, I'm like running, my nose is running. I'm like, did my seasonal allergies just decide to up and leave my body and go somewhere else? I mean, that'd be cool.
How many times have you left the house?
A few, a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah.
E-Rock from Dallas, Texas. How you doing, my friend?
Big up.
Doing great, man. How are you guys? Evidently, I'm back in the office, as you can see, working late. Where you guys' Zoom meeting is actually helping me to kind of refine some of the wireless in some of the buildings now. We're actually going to have people in the office in about 2 weeks. So,
Oh man,
E-Rock's remote days are fast coming to an end.
The end is near.
OBS Ninja, that bitch. Like,
Right,
get
you're
your
good to
shit
go.
started from home.
That's the
Take a little
door.
USB powered controller there. You're
You've
good.
already
Yeah.
got it
Close
going.
that door at lunch.
Yeah.
Get the controller
Close
in the
that
room.
door.
Good to go.
Right. Yes. Put some foil up or something like up on top so they can't tint that shit. There you go.
Love it.
Outstanding. Welcome, E-Rock. Glad you're here. Metapattern just coming in from Atlanta. Big up, Metapattern. How you doing, my friend?
Good evening, everybody.
How was
Your government name is showing, just to let you know. if
You were
wanted to
recently
change it.
interviewed with on Deep Show. Was yesterday, right? No.
That's
Yesterday?
correct.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
right? Yesterday
Yes.
or the day before?
I don't know what day of the week it is anymore. I just
I mean,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. that was yesterday.
Feels like
yeah.
a lifetime ago.
right. Time is. I mean, but from the hours that I'm up, I'm up in between days, really. So I don't know what's yesterday or tomorrow half the time because I'm right in the middle. But about a day ago, you were interviewing with Man Like Deep, and I got to say it was awesome, man. I was telling him earlier the casual style of interview and how you guys were just kind of someone's monitoring loud. How you guys were just kind of having a nice chill conversation. What's that?
it says, it's your text to me at 1:46 in the morning for me. You up?
Yeah.
Well,
I hella did a booty call
Yeah.
on fucking Faders.
Yeah.
But yeah,
yeah,
dude,
appreciate that, man. Yeah, Deep makes it very, very relaxing, very comfortable. Very
dude, it was
easy
nice
to do
just
that.
hearing you all having a conversation. I mean,
That was fun.
I am in my living room, right? So when I'm listening to stuff, it's like on the home stereo, you know, it bumps or whatever the hell. Sometimes I can throw it on the near field monitors if I'm like getting nerdy with it. And like so I'll put y'all on when I'm just like cleaning, folding laundry and stuff. And sometimes, you know, I'll tune out and turn on the television instead or whatever. But I actually was really enjoying eavesdropping on your conversation. I wasn't engaging with the chat. I wasn't, because normally like some of the funnest stuff in Deep's show is the banter in the chat. I gotta admit, like there's proper funny gems going down.
That's all the gold. Literally, the
cracking up
chat
the
crew
whole time.
is it. It's all about the chat.
But I
Big
was
up the
actually
chat crew.
pulled away from the chat for quite a bit of the show and just straight up enjoying the conversation y'all were having. So big up, man. It's good stuff.
Awesome.
Big up, Matt.
Yeah,
I
I've been
gotta
cracking
go,
up the whole time.
bruv. I gotta go. Big up, Matt Pan, bruv. I'm really glad you
Deep's
were on.
hit his timer. I appreciate you, man. Thank you
Back
very
to
much.
family stuff. Big
Yep,
up you lot.
Understand.
Right on.
In a
Big
bit.
up, man.
See
Thank you
you,
so
man.
much. Man Like Deep. Make sure you check out Man Like Deep's show. Deep, before you go, what's your schedule?
Tomorrow, 7 o'clock PST. Saturday, 7 o'clock PST, and Tuesdays as well. Always at 7.
Perfect. Get a shout out
Nice
to Man
one.
Like Deep in the chat. That'd be awesome.
Later,
Appreciate that. If you're not following Deep, you're in the wrong place. Get out.
Yep, the wage.
Chuck the Bounty Hunter just coming in. Chuck, how you doing, my friend?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Oh man, we're hanging in there. About to talk some shop. I know you're here to chime in about OBS and everything else.
Yep.
How's your streams going?
Going good. Yeah, I kind of took a page out of your guys' book and started adding stingers to them and stuff, and just launched a new kind of format on just on Monday, and I'm really excited about it.
Super dope.
So, thanks.
Welcome in. Joshua Carl, there he is, coming out of Boston. How you doing, my friend?
Chilling. What's good, guys? How we doing?
Good.
2,500, dude.
Thanks, man.
Oh, you just hit 2,500. Let's drink to that.
Yeah.
That's fast.
Hold on.
Nice, guys. It was all you
16-hour
guys.
stream.
Yes. Salute. Salute.
I don't have anything to salute with, but I'm there. I'm actually waiting for my dinner. My dinner should be down soon, so you guys get to watch me eat. So lucky you.
All gravy.
Okay.
Ooh wee.
It was good today. It was probably arguably one of the best streams I've had since I've started.
Nice.
And I think like we've talked about the wave, the ups and downs, the seemingly everybody else is doing great when you're not doing great, and then you do great, and then and it's not that everybody else had stopped. It's kind of that you're kind of acting the way you should be acting. You shouldn't be paying attention to how good or bad other people are doing, but it's really hard to do that when you're not having I don't want to say successful, because at the end of the day, a lot of my streams, I don't measure the success by anything other than the vibe of the community. But let's be honest, sometimes you're like, man, I played for 4 hours and never had more than 8 viewers, and I've been doing this for a year, and you're just like, what am I doing wrong? Or you start questioning yourself and the things you've put in. So, and it's normal. It's very normal. That's one thing I've learned in the last year, is that is probably the most normal behavior for somebody on this platform.
Right. I feel it, man. We all feel it. Trust me. Those days when you're really down and you tried to put the best show you possibly could out there, and it feels like it's just kind of a slow roll. That's a real feeling. And sometimes you can feel envy when you see somebody else out there who's maybe not trying as hard. Let's be real, right? And they're receiving more success from less effort. And that's real life. Life isn't fair, right? And so that's what all of our parents told us at some point or another.
I think we're kind of lucky in the DJ realm, because we've been dealing with that for decades.
Right.
Like the who get you a lot further in the DJ world or the club world than what you know.
Right.
So it's kind of no different, but at the same time, like, it's one thing I will say, it's kind of nice. Like when you guys, and I mean you guys here and my other friends, when I see you guys successful, it's one of the few times that I actually feel genuinely happy for my friends. Like back in the day, I'm not gonna lie, there was times when like a friend would call me and be like, yo, I got this spot. I'm like, oh, congratulations, you motherfucker.
Envious. Yeah, envy's a bitch.
You're like, you're not even that fucking good. Like, who are you sleeping with? But
I know.
On here, when I see you guys do good, I don't have an ounce of that, which is one of the reasons why I've committed to the platform.
Yep.
Because even when it's bad, it's not that bad. And even when it's bad for you, you can take a little bit of joy in your friends or your community, and they can carry you, So
appreciate you being here, Josh. I totally feel that.
Thanks, man.
100%. Yeah, the struggle is real. I don't know. Sometimes, like, there's different levels of things, right? Like, I've noticed, and I don't know if it's users deleting their accounts or it's if people, they just don't like me, but I've noticed the follow count fall a couple of times, and I'm like, man, two less people are following than were yesterday. What did I do to offend those 2 people? You know what I mean? Like,
I said that to my stream tonight. I said that when I was approaching 2,500, I looked, it was like 25, it was like 24.92, and I was like, oh, we're 8 away, and then I looked again and it was like 24.89, and I'm like, did I say that? And people were like, what? You want to rub that in my face? I've got 7 followers. Peace. I'm out. And to top it off, I reported you. I saw a nipple.
You know what? I would do that just to troll. Like if you were like 5 away, I would unfollow and just wait to be that one. So I could be 5K. Like, oh, I got
you.
You know
that is kind of what happened. Like I was like at 24.99 for a while, and I didn't say anything about it. And I finally was like, oh, we're 1 away. And then like 5 people that had been in the chat for the whole time all follow me at the same time. I'm like, you sons of bitches, you're just making me sweat.
Big up Steve B802 for the raid earlier. I shouted it out, but it was kind of subtle. Dig'em Smack 4 months at tier 1. Big up Dig'em Smack. Appreciate you, man. Dig'em Smack works hard on Twitch. Tries really hard, does a good job.
In the fucking real life, do you see what he was doing? Like cleaning out this whole ditch to skate in. Like it's all covered in a bunch of shit, like dirt and shit. He was like fucking sweeping it all out, like himself. Like the city was like dumping shit in there. He's like, nah, bro, we're fucking skating in here.
Skating
like,
this shit, let's go.
That's what's up.
I love it.
Damn.
Diggle Smack's dope. It's the truth, actually. Gabe Xavier, 13 months at tier 1. We're going into 13 months now.
Damn.
That's fucking crazy, yo. Big up Gabe Xavier. Gabe Xavier is a true OG out here in Sacramento. Been doing it a long time. He's my senior for sure. And super dope DJ, working hard. And I'm sure he's very ready to get back IRL. If he's not already IRL. I know he's fully vaccinated and has survived COVID. So I don't know how much more vaccinated you can get. You know what I mean? Like
you develop the antibodies and then still go get vaccinated.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
damn.
You good to go, bro. Big up Meta Pattern throwing 100 biddies down. Appreciate you. Oh shit, the hype train's running. There we go. Daddy Doe 25 biddies. DJ Rebel Lion with the 7 bits. Rebel Lion was on Inside the Ride with the all San Diego lineup over the weekend. I had a really good time at that show. It was a really good time actually. Big up San Diego
the
crew.
opening was super tight. I like this set a lot.
And I brought this up on Saturday. You know, the one place that's the most likely for us all to meet IRL is going to probably be San Diego.
San Diego.
Yeah, it's probably going to be at TwitchCon when they open back up IRL. Every year there was 2 of them, one in Amsterdam and one in San Diego. And I have a feeling San Diego's a little more convenient for most of us. So, you know, as much as Amsterdam does sound like an epic.
That sounds like that might be the trip, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, that sounds like the jam, dude. Like, come on.
We're gonna need to find Club Vandersex.
You never know. I might see some of y'all both.
Yo, can I hop in for like a hot second? I saw that Fibes is in the chat. I love their shit.
Yeah.
The Librarian was playing a fucking Fibes remix on one of his sets. You played Show Me Love, the fucking drum, that shit, dude. I sniped that. I fucking was Shazamming that, and I was like, ooh, I need that.
Yo, much love to Fibes in the chat. That's incredible.
They do dope shit.
Dope.
And definitely,
yeah.
Check out their Patreon as well.
Yes,
yeah,
do that.
They released some stuff is free on SoundCloud as well too. They have fire stuff. They when Gouda was doing his like 40-hour stream, Fibes was they were hanging out in there, and he played like a bunch of Fibes records. Like they sent him a bunch of shit. He did a little mini showcase during his time when he was doing that little where he's like jumping from producer like or record label house to things. He was crushing it.
Sick.
Nice.
I recently got a chance to pass a couple of messages back and forth on Instagram, and I'm looking forward to building with them in the future because a lot of doors are opening for the channel, and I'm exploring all options that we possibly can. And even though we just went on this rant about how we're focusing on our core, I honestly feel like Fibes is part of that core. Look, they're hanging out in the damn chat right now.
Dope, super dope.
You know, but also I want you know to have a showcase ability on this channel as well, even if it's, you know, every now and then. Speaking of huge support and being a part of the circle, 916 Junglet, that's my homegirl Beth and Ian. 916 Junglet, 7 months at tier 2. Big up, that's super dope. I appreciate that. A tier 2 sub is absolutely incredible, and for 7 months, that's dope. Big up 916 Junglet, true supporter that goes well beyond COVID, let me tell you. We have many stories to share, and she's been doing some dope things. So yeah, she's actually done a couple of really dope art installs at some 916 Junglist events, which were super dope. And I can't wait to have her do more art installs on future IRL events. I'm sure that's going to happen. Mama Fader with the 5-pack. Mama Fader. Yo.
Oh, Mama Fader.
Thanks for the 5-pack, Mom.
I gotta say, Mama Fader, when I was on April Fool's, when I was in Darth Vader's channel as the April Fool's joke, I don't know how many of y'all caught that. On April Fool's, Vader and I didn't tell anybody, and we switched streams. We talked about this last week. And I was DJing as DJ Darth Vader on his channel, and he was DJing as Billy Lane on the 916 Junglist channel. And we swapped our OBS scenes so that it looked like we were in each other's channel, like we had the other person's background as our overlays.
The shirts too.
Like we went full send on it.
Big up Fibes on the 5-piece. Thank you so much.
Appreciate Fibes with the 5-piece. Look at that, dude.
Thank
real
you.
love.
Nice.
Wow. I'm gonna screenshot that. That's incredible. Thank you. I owe you big time. It's you too, Mama Fader. I owe you both. Finish up the story about Mama Fader. I was in Darth Vader's channel, and Mama Fader was showing so much love. In fact, she was saying, "I love both my sons so much" in the chat. I love it. I love it. So make sure you follow Mama Fader. You know, Mama Fader be streaming.
Streams, yo.
She be streaming, yo.
Mama
Make
Fader
sure you
be
follow
streaming.
Mama Fader. She's got
what does Mama Fader stream? Now I want to know.
I mean, now you got to tune in and find out.
Yeah.
Now you got to tune in to find
Game on.
You got to drop that follow and find out next time she goes live.
It just happened.
Ratfink's here. Ratfink, what are you doing? Dishes? What do you got going on over there?
Cooking.
Oh, you're cooking.
Cooking?
Yeah.
Outstanding. What are you making?
What are you making?
Making some pierogies.
Ooh, fancy. Schmancy.
You want to say it correctly now?
Making some pierogi.
The plural pierogi is pierogi.
He just half-assed the P part, the pierogi. Yeah.
Pierogi.
Hey, there's a bunch of normies on this in chat. So
Thanks for lowbrowing it for us, but I appreciate that. Stitchy, how you doing, my friend? It's good to see you back in the Zoom.
Awesome. It's good to be back in the Zoom. It's
Glad
been
you're here. How your streams been going?
Streams have been going pretty good. I mean, I kind of feel like most of the time it's the same 8 or 10 people, which is always awesome. And then anything that happens above and beyond that is always great, but it's always pretty much the same people week in and week out. And that's always great because it's always a lot of them.
Is the core crew, man. You got to love them, dude. That's the homies, dude. Straight up.
Yeah. And a lot of them are people that I know personally. So that's always great. And anytime like people surprise me and stop by and do stuff, they've been really generous lately. I really appreciate them very much. It's been really good.
Wicked.
Rebel Lion with the 20 biddies. That's what's up. Yo, before we get into our main topic, one thing that I wanted to address, and I don't know how many of y'all are paying that close attention to the room, but I took down the giant green monster that used to be behind me. I don't know if y'all noticed that. And I turned the decks around and I'm facing them towards the wall again. And for the month of April at least, I'm going to go with a simpler approach, but with the knowledge that I have now that I didn't have when I was doing it before. And so I'll be able to do things like chroma keying the walls and doing things with the room that I didn't know how to do before because I didn't have lighting or the know-how. But also I want to take it to kind of a simpler approach where it's just me in the living room playing some tunes. And one of the big motivations for this wasn't because I wanted to change the production. In fact, I'm really nervous about changing the production. But one of the big motivations was, and I know I've bitched about this a lot, but I live in here, right? I don't go outside. I sleep in the next room over. I wake up and this is my living room. And when COVID hit and I had to turn this living room into a production studio, first thing I did was I set up a desk in front of my fireplace, and I literally have called this studio the fireplace because I'm sitting here facing the fireplace right now with a desk in front of it, right? And for the last year, I have been living in a production studio, and they talk about not feng shui, right? It's just totally messing with it's messy. It was been messing with my mind living in the studio with the giant green wall and just no living room aspect to it whatsoever. And so I decided that at least for a month, this happened on Easter, at least for a month, I want to just turn this area back into a living room as much as I can and still maintain the stream, and try to regain some sort of sanity from the last year of producing a show and living in this. I joked about it. I said it looks like I'm shooting porn in here, and or I can make a Marvel film in here because there's green walls and equipment everywhere and light trees in the middle of the floor and shit, and I couldn't take it anymore. And so I reclaimed my living room for the next few weeks, and we'll see where it goes from there. Maybe I'll end up with a 20 series RTX card, and I won't need a green screen anymore. Or I can be like Ratfink and get one of those Kinect cameras, and then be good to go.
That automatic RTX fake green screen is not that great.
Josh Carl uses it pretty well, actually.
Strange manager.
Well,
It's not
that
as
great.
good. It's not as good as. It's certainly not as good as a proper green screen. But
It's all
Sushi
right.
Dragon uses it too. I noticed today. I don't know if you guys saw. He did a Cheetos halftime show
Yeah, that was
with
hilarious today.
25,000
Cheez-It.
viewers. Cheez It, yeah.
Cheez-Its, yeah.
Man, dude, that guy. So, and then he went in. He's like, "Oh, I'm using NVIDIA Broadcast." And when he did that part, and I'm like, "Man, it looked super clean." And it got set me back down the rabbit hole. And the reason why it looks kind of like shit here is because, like most things, you need a lot of light.
Let's say he has
And my light-
$100,000 in lighting in his ceiling.
His lights are insane. It's
Right.
it's like standing in the desert at noon.
Right.
You know, it's just fucking perfect.
Well, like if you're doing a ton of lights, then why not just do the green screen?
Well, why not do both?
Well, the thing about the green screen for me
All of
is, I mean, because Sushi Dragon is in a production studio, and
Warehouse.
that would be ideal.
Yeah.
I would love to drive a couple of miles to a fantasy factory where all of my wildest dreams can be fucking created, right? Like that would be
Now that's
amazing. But
porn set.
my garage.
that's your garage. I love it. I would
Your
love
garage.
a dedicated creative space. Unfortunately, this is also where I Netflix and bill, and so that's like it's. I need some sort of a living room. I don't know if that makes sense. Purple Team Ninja with the 5-pack. Whoa. Man Like Deep throwing 100 biddy down. Joshua Carl 200. Mama Fader 500. Just crushed the level 5 hype train. That's enough, y'all. Thank you. No use for anger. What up?
I think, like you said, you'll be able to find that balance now that you've got the skills that you've had. You know, of all the years to have your living room transformed into a studio like that, the first year of a channel is probably the best year to do that if you're going to do it. And now that you'll be able to find strike that balance, you can probably dial it back a little and still, have 80-90% of, what you originally envisioned while still being able to make it a little bit less stressful on yourself. Because on the one hand, it made it that much easier for you to dive right into projects since it's all set up. But on the other hand, you've got this constant nagging feeling when you're in that room not working on streams, I bet. So, yeah, like
it's
you
tough
said,
sitting
having
on
a
the couch
living
and
space
just
taken back.
It's tough to sit on the couch and just like read a book or watch a TV show or something when you're in this like studio lit green screen having production studio. It's just there's something that's not. I don't want to say it was killing my creativity because I had no problem creating in this space, but it definitely burned on my soul a little bit. Like I needed.
Yeah, you need separation.
Yeah. I almost, and this actually almost really happened. I almost had a little mini staycation and just like rented a hotel for a few days,
Right.
to like
I
have a
love that.
regular room for a couple of days. You know what I mean? Like, or not regular room, but live in a hotel for a couple of
Just to
days.
break away.
Yeah, just to kind of like, get away from it for a second. But that hasn't happened. It's not a bad idea though. Hype train success. Thank you guys. Appreciate
it.
that. React DMB 5 months of tier 1. Appreciate all the love. Again, Purple Team Ninja, and Mama Fader with the huge and 5s.
Epic.
Fucking A. Holy
It's always
crap, yo.
epic.
Wow.
Epic.
Incredible. The support, the love is real. Appreciate y'all. Who's
Yeah,
using LioranBoard right now?
Not yet.
Let me go through the comments real quick in the chat. Sorry, I missed the chat. Yeah, y'all feeling it. I see you guys. Appreciate that. 20% office, 80% DJ room. Right.
Here's a question. You got a fireplace, man. I would make that a thing. Is it a functional fireplace?
Oh yeah.
Dude, that's man.
Why
you should
isn't
just
that in your
green
stream?
screen the yeah, exactly, that the fucking walls around that, and then you're like in the fucking fireside chat with Billy Lane. Come on
Right.
now, like it writes itself.
I'm
I'm
looking
100%
at
behind
bearskin
this.
rugs on Amazon right now as we talk
Yeah.
about this. Like,
Wow.
right? That's what I'm just gonna be like scratching the head while I'm talking to you.
Wrong. We just went there.
Just laying down like off to the side, just like it's like, oh hey
Right.
guys, I didn't see you come in.
That'll be amazing. Yes, I'm all about it.
Oh my god.
I'm in it.
Are you paying attention to me? No, I'm sorry. It's stroking the bear. What did you say?
Yeah. Don't mind me. Just stroking the bear again.
Again.
So LioranBoard. Oh, the DeLorean board.
Happy birthday.
What's going on? What I missed?
Sorry. JC's wife's delivering him dinner, and I wished her happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Dale said happy birthday.
Thanks.
She said thanks.
They'll be back with me tomorrow.
Yeah, she's having surgery tomorrow, so fingers crossed.
Wow.
This chunk out.
Gallbladder gone.
Oh, you got life insurance. You got life insurance, right?
I'm gonna live stream it.
Oh yeah,
dude. Yes. What's up?
OBS is the doctor doing it via OBS.
I'm gonna OBS Ninja from the surgery. They better
Chef's
get
gonna be
out of
cutting
here.
the lights off on the surgeons and shit, changing the light colors.
Yeah.
Wilhelm screams and stuff.
Right. Now he's gonna chroma key the whole area. And
No, that's the kind of event you just bring the Mevo and you just put on a doctor's outfit and pretend you belong there until somebody asks you to leave.
Have her just drink a bunch of green Kool-Aid, and then you can chroma it out.
How amazing it would be to green screen out like a bunch of nurses and doctors in their scrub outfits, so it's just like a bunch of heads and arms walking around.
Yes.
Floating by heads.
Yes.
Almost like
top shelf. So the DeLorean board.
Ready? Lioran?
I know LioranBoard. I know LioranBoard. I know. DeLorean board. DeLorean board. I've been going ham on it lately, and something that I really dreaded doing was updating it, because I read the README file on it and it's kind of a dirty install to begin with. And so updating it, you got to drag a bunch of specific things into specific directories in order to get it working correctly. And also you got to make sure that you update the WebSocket and things like that. And so I had this like, if it ain't broke, I'm not going to try to fix it approach, right? Oh, snap. Hold on a second. We got someone coming in the chat. I'm going to stop this conversation for a second here.
Oh.
Happening.
No shit. Hey.
Wow.
This is huge. A huge moment. Let me make sure that we're recording this.
Connect to your audio. That's all it says. Yeah.
Welcome.
Not too hot for Twitch, though.
Not too hot for Twitch. Absolutely not.
Now the users know they just have to come up with a good name that you might get shook over, and then just come in with their dick out.
Yo, 5GK in the chat.
What's up, Vibes?
Dude, wow.
Yo.
Super dope.
Hey.
Trying to connect to audio still.
Yep,
We got
he's still coming through with the audio. As soon as he gets on, we'll start chatting. I've been going heavy with the DeLorean board, and so I recently updated it because Josh brought it to my attention that early in about mid-March, a little less than a month ago, LioranBoard. Okay, LioranBoard.
Hey, there you go.
Updated to version 1.43, and it involved having to update your WebSocket to version 4.9.0. And so I went through all the dirty install process. All you got to do is read the README file. There's also YouTube videos where they basically read the README file for you. And I got it all together, and a little bit of trial and error, I got it working, and it's great. And one thing I got to say, for those of you that are using LioranBoard, if you haven't updated to 1.43 and you like freaking the board, like, you should definitely update it, because the graphic user interface changes that they've made in the command editor have been outstanding. Josh, I know that you're an avid LioranBoard ninja. What are your thoughts on 1.43?
Well, that was a big part of it, was just the general aesthetic, but they have to do that, because now there's BikuBot, there's Noob Commander, Touch Portal is starting to integrate some of that things. If they keep looking like Windows 95, as powerful as it is, they're not going to get like these younger streamers who like are kind of wowed and dazzled. Look at how many people still stream. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with stream slobs,
yeah,
but a lot of people just look at it and go, "Oh, it's so sexy. It's all buttons and it's all drop-down windows." And it's like, you only through time can you tell that software is severely underpowered compared to OBS.
Right.
But It's the same thing. You open up BikuBot or Noob Commander, any of those. They're sexy programs. So it's like, hey, this looks like a legit program. This looks like Spotify. You open up the LioranBoard for the first time, and you're like, there's nothing there, and you're just like, now what? What do I do? Like, there's no drop down tabs. There's none of that. So you have to watch videos and talk to people and watch, tutorials and read tutorials and get on their Discord page. But once you get that base coat of paint down on how it works, the sky's the limit. And now that they added, just like OBS 27, they added undo, which sounds trivial. It's massive. It's absolutely massive. And then just the way the interfaces work now, that it's not so clunky. There was times where like, oh, I want to add a source movement to this. I look for it and it wouldn't be there. And I'm like, I know it's there. I'm looking at it and I'm messaging them and I'm sending them videos and they're just like, yeah, dude, we don't know. And I'm like, shit, the new one, everything's there. Everything works. Everything connects. It's dope, man. It's I'm not going to lie. Like, I was super intimidated with it at first as well. Like I think most people are. But like I said, once you get the idea of how it works and you start looking around their Discord at the extensions that you can use, like the picture thing that I did, like that wasn't really easy. It wasn't really easy to do because I had to wrap my head around a couple things. Like there's a thing that like takes a picture and sends it to Imager. And then there's a thing that takes it and sends it to Discord. And it's all in these extensions that are on the LioranBoard. Right. And I'm like, well, what do I do with an extension? I don't even know what the fuck that is. So I had to like, oh, you install an extension. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So it's like every time I think I understand the software, somebody's like, oh, have you looked at this yet? And then somebody's like, here's stacks. And I'm like, what the hell's a stack? They're like, well, you take everything you've done and you put it on the bookshelf like a stack of books and then call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then when something happens, you refer to where on the stack that file is, and then you can tell it to do what it wants. So if, in that case, like you guys know, I have that thing where it goes to different places in the world.
Right.
All those are located in one place. And then what it does is it just randomizes the stack. So those are all labeled like 1 through 10. It picks a number 1 through 10, pulls the stack and changes the transition. So it's random every single time. What? So like there's all these like, if and if then it's kind of shit in there. Totally. And once you kind of get that a little bit, man, it's what I like about it is that if day one you're going to see results with that software and be like, wow, this is crazy. Day two, you're going to find something else and go, holy shit, I didn't know I could do that. So by day, what are we at now? 100, 365 for most of us. Well, I've only been messing with the software for about 6 to 8 months. So day, whatever that is. Yeah. And I'm still learning stuff every single time. And the developers are always putting out new shit. Yep. So I highly recommend anybody who's on a PC and using OBS. It's free. It takes a little bit to wrap your head around, but message us,
yeah, I'm down.
No, coding is there actually coding involved in this? Like, because it sounds like an object-oriented language already.
You can open up JSON.
Oh, I can. So
And-
I can straight code into
You can
it.
import a JSON script. Absolutely. Yes.
But it is kind of drop down, and they've got it to the point where it's drop down windows. And the best part about it is if you go in
And there's some
to
there's some pre-made visual stuff too that you can like click on, like
Right, if you want-
button for
No,
this.
Fibes, it's all
edit,
good. I
you know
see
that.
what you're saying in the chat. Sorry, Fibes was trying to connect, and he was having audio-video connection issues. I appreciate the attempt. I would love to have a sit-down. Maybe we can schedule a one-on-one interview with you on a Wednesday here coming up very soon. I would love it. But I appreciate you trying to get in. Obviously, try to get in all night if you want. It's super late where you're at right now, so I just being here is legendary. Thank you. Big up Fibes. Super dope. Continuing on, we're talking about the LioranBoard.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Funny aside, my mother never said the word.
I'm surprised nobody said that in the comments yet. Dude, you're fucking saying it
Because it's
wrong,
so
bro.
hard to say. It's hard to say. My mother to this day has never said the word Nintendo properly. It's always been Nintendo, Ninio, and I'm like, and so when you say that, it so reminds me of my parents in the 80s when I was like, I want Optimus Prime. They're like, you're not getting an Octagon or Octagon Primus, so whatever the hell it is.
Same with my parents, except that I love you.
Oh, sorry.
I'm kidding. My parents are great.
Dark.
And then
Also,
once they
story
finally
time.
get Nintendo right, they call every console a Nintendo.
Yeah, now yeah, exactly. Yeah, everything's a Nintendo.
The PlayStation, Mom.
This is what Mama Fader does when she played Mario with me as a kid on Nintendo, right? She's like,
Oh, the jump. The jump.
Wait, I got one. Very good. All right. Straight
About
up.
the LioranBoard.
Yeah.
I want to say like I would recommend it if that's like something you're super into, like just that way of the logical way of building things like that. Because I mean that could suck up a lot of time just working on stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like,
What else we got to
if
do?
You just, I don't know. Some people just want something simple. Like I want to simply set up this thing.
you can get it
and
as
go.
in with this program. You can be as basic or as deep as you want to go with it. Like I use it like way more top level entry level than Joshua does. Like I do it like I use an OBS trigger so it switches a scene for me when someone redeems channel points to open up the pit. It fucking does it on its own.
Right.
So I don't have to go to my stream deck or go to my OBS and find out where fucking in my 50 scenes do I have the mosh pit scene, you know, like that, you know what I mean? Or
some of y'all that were here earlier when you saw the raids happen, that's a LioranBoard trigger that happens when somebody raids. It
Right,
runs,
or when
it
certain
runs through that
bits,
sequence,
certain
right?
tier, like we can set it to like when you cheer 420 bits in the channel, or when you cheer 69 bits in the channel.
Right.
This different, you know, automated shit like happens. You know, that's what I use a lot of it for.
Yeah. And
Another
it's a
thing that I use it
comfortability
for
thing.
too is my my automated scene switches. And so like if I'm juggling through three different camera angles, say, right? And those are three different scenes, then I'll have like a macro that just runs those in a cycle for like 3 or 4 minutes. And then that way I can like press that action and then get back to DJing and do it, and then the camera changes while I'm DJing as if there's somebody doing a multicam production, right? But at the same time I set it so that it ends on the head-on shot that can be the static shot for a longer period of time that we're more comfortable with seeing, so it doesn't look like it's overproduced, right? Like I'm cutting too much, like doing too many cut scenes and too much overproduction. Because I mean, I've cringed at some people that are overproducing their streams, including my own. And I feel like there's a level, right? There's a point where like it's stylish, you know what I mean? And to everybody's different. This just depends on each individual stream. And so for me, like I like LioranBoard to do these short little camera macros for a certain period of time while I'm busy taking care of other things, and I can like it can just do its own thing. And then exactly what Josh was saying, all of the scene switches and stuff are absolutely from LioranBoard.
The thing is, across the board, a lot of these programs offer that solution. I landed on LioranBoard just because it seemed like OBS, you can come in and use it at its basic level and do pretty well with it. If you want to do more, you can. That's what made me gravitate to that. I mean, you can do scene switches like Billy was talking about with the Stream Deck. You can go in and say change, delay, change delay, change delay. It's literally the same thing on the LioranBoard. And I think one of the things Kitty White said was, does it take your attention away from the chat? Other than being in a routine that requires your concentration and your head down a little bit, I found that LioranBoard has made my chat so much more easy to engage, because I know I can either set it and forget it, or it's automated. So that's the less things that I need to do while I'm streaming, the more I can pay attention to the chat. And
Yep.
that's been huge.
Yep.
You spend more time up front to make sure that that's the case.
Right.
That's how
you do a
save
little
on the
back end
time.
work and automation and whatever, and then you don't have to fuck with it anymore.
Right.
Like you could.
Precisely.
You just got to make sure you have the program loaded, like when you obviously when you go live and like that kind of shit. But as far as that goes, you do a little bit of work up front, and then that's it. Like
Set it and forget it.
Right.
There's one thing about Twitch, and I've said this
Bronco.
before too, is the best thing is that there is no rules. Like, you know what I mean? If you, there's people that we know that we're friends with that have amazing success, not doing any of these things, not using any of these softwares. They're great DJs, they're great personalities, they're great entertainers. I'm not, so I'm gonna make up for it on the other side.
I'm not.
He said, "I'm not," with the pause.
You're like a super overachiever, though.
Yeah. But
All you need is the hot tub.
Yeah. To that end, though, I do want to say, now that I am getting a PC and I'm about to dive into this, and Billy kind of highlighted this earlier, if you watch me go over the board, tell me to dial it back, guys, because I don't want to be that guy. I like my simple setup. I like my audio being confusing, not my video.
I think it's just, you know, we've talked about this kind of before. It's like, you know, we're kind of doing this stuff because we think it's cool, or like we're into it. You know what I mean? It's not for everybody, and neither are we to say that everybody needs to do it, because we're not the fucking streaming police. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like, I knew that when I got on this platform with my brain and my like graphic design kind of background, that I wanted to do cool shit. So then when I could build a PC and build a green screen, I was going to do that. And then I built a bunch of cool scenes that I could have green screen. Then I was thinking, you know, once I had this PC and I switched to OBS, all right, now I want to do some of this back end like automation shit. And I picked Joshua Carl's brain for a couple of videos for LioranBoard and stuff like that. And then got on that train. And I'm, like I said, I'm nowhere near as knee deep as he is, but like some of that stuff that I'm like, all right, well, I want, you know, Twitch trigger, like someone redeems a channel point for, you know, it to do shit. And like, I don't have to do it. And, you know, I don't have to like sit there and find it or this or that. So like, that's where my brain goes with this shit, is because like, I like doing this shit. So it's like I don't suggest everybody do it, but if you need to do it or want to do it, these are the tools you can use it, and then hit up the homies to fucking answer any, you know, questions.
Yep. And you don't even have to have a ton of scenes or anything. Even if you just have a single scene, single camera, there's a whole slew of chat command stuff that you can still have control over.
Yeah, the chat command stuff is dope.
It's not just about your visuals. You can still do volume adjustments. You can turn ducking on and off for your microphone. There's all sorts of stuff.
All kinds of shit.
Yep. Yeah, the automation goes well beyond the visual aspect of it. There's a lot of stuff you can do with the interactivity with some of these commands. It's pretty dope. In fact, while you guys have been talking, I've been fixing the drop thing.
The drop thing in the back.
Yeah, because it wasn't working right. In case you guys didn't notice, and so I'm fixing it now.
Keep like one of like the really cool opportunities that I think this like LioranBoard could do for folks, and JC can chime in because I think he's pretty much done it. Is I could have my, check this, right? I could have my streaming PC on, OBS running, and be ready to go, and then in LioranBoard in my chat, like from my phone at my club gig with a camera that's hooked up to Wi-Fi or whatever, and be able to, you know, remote, you know, the OBS Ninja camera scene onto my fucking computer. I could be streaming my set from the club on my home computer.
Yeah, that's
straight up.
I think we talked about it before. I did that over the winter a few times. It is completely possible. And it's actually surprisingly easy, because while LioranBoard and OBS are taking steps forward and getting better, OBS Ninja is too. Like they're tweaking things and making things better on their end too. And I remember when I first used it, it's changed considerably.
Yeah, totally.
And I that's exactly what I did. Like Fader said, I built commands that I would usually use if I was here at my computer in person, and I made them in the LioranBoard, and I made them like broadcaster only chat commands. Right. So the only person that listens to is me. So I could scenes, I could tell it to do whatever I want to do. So if somebody redeems something and it like goes to my camera over here and I'm not in here, I want them to see that, oh yeah, you can access the camera in here. I'm not there. I'm at a club. But you can have a look around while I'm not in there, and I'd see it, and I'd take it back to, you know, I bring this little Logitech with me, or I plug that in, and then I, you know, loop Serato using I Show You, and just send that to OBS Ninja. And it's, I mean, who knows if it's something that's ever going to catch on, but it's definitely doable, and it's, you know, it's all based in on these programs.
I could see something like OBS Ninja I could see paid services that offer it on a cloud base instead of a peer-to-peer happening real soon. In fact, Amazon Work Server already does it in a lot of ways. Kitty White asks, so rookie question, what is it compatible with? Now, I'll tell you right now, the transmitter for LioranBoard is on a PC, but the deck for LioranBoard can run on a PC, either the same PC that you're streaming with, another PC on the local area network, or an Android device on the local area network. It does not work with iOS currently.
Womp womp.
There's two elements of LioranBoard.
Research D&B. Fuck. I'm just kidding. I get it more than once. It's fine. Son of a bitch. I'm not Joey Fatone, Research D&B's wife.
That one's. That's his hot dog place.
You're not?
Kitty White. So yeah, it's a two-piece program. You have a transmitter and you have a receiver. I actually don't even use the transmitter, which you can put it on. Actually, I thought it does work on an iPad, or is it a Windows pad, whatever those things.
Yeah, it has to be an Android tablet.
An Android tablet.
Yeah, Android tablet.
Like they're not programming for iOS.
Yeah. So and if you want the actual buttons to press to do things, you can. The way we use it for the most part is automated. So you literally install it. You create a button that says every time someone says the word, white in the chat. Actually, that's problematic. Kitty in the chat. Then you have something. You have like you find an animation, a green screen animation of a little cat, right? And you chroma out the background and you render it out as an alpha channel. And every time someone says Kitty, you have a little cat that runs across the screen. It's that simple. You can have it do whatever you want. Like your imagination is really the sort of the end. And now that OBS 27 is adding some of that new shit, which I'm sure we're gonna get to. Even more so, like one of the things the first thing I added, in OBS 27 was the transition on the sources. And I changed my new follower thing from a video I made of me like coming out being like, oh, hey, thanks. I got rid of that because I have like 4 of those. And I changed it to their picture, their name, and it says new follower. But the cool part about it is they animate in through OBS. You no longer do you need to like create an animation and then bring that into OBS and then activate it. You just say, well, create a white box, transition, slide in, done. Now that white box goes zip every single time you want to do something. It's crazy.
I have a question to you about that, if I can, Billy.
Yeah.
The new follower notification. Are you using LioranBoard for that, or are you using Streamlabs? Or no, Stream
I'm currently
Elements
using Stream Elements for those those alerts. It's a browser source for Stream Elements.
Yeah, I meant.
Oh, JC. Yeah, go for it.
Oh, sorry. The new follower one is 100% in LioranBoard. And it's not as easy as you might think. You'll get it, Brandon. I know you'll get it, but I think someone who's brand new might look at the new follower notification and be like, what do I have to do? Like, I have to create a button that is monitoring my followers, because actually new followers isn't something that spawns anything in your chat. Like if you get a new follower, nothing happens in your chat unless you tell it to.
Right.
So basically you have to go into LioranBoard, get the new follower alert, make a button out of it, and then tell the button that's going to make the animation happen to watch that button for notification. It's simple for me because we've been messing with it for so long.
Months. Yeah, right.
Right, but I could see that for someone new, but like, you know what, just stick with Stream Elements. Stream Elements is a really, really, really good solution because you can upload WebM files, make whatever the hell you want. You can go on Giphy and just download an alpha channel GIF file and drop that in. It's fine.
That's good for like 90% of what you need. For the most part, for sure.
I think the majority of people are going to stick with like Stream Elements or Streamlabs or whatever and call it a day. But I'm an Uber nerd and I want shit to be different.
Speaking of Uber nerd, I think I fixed the drop. Let me see if I fixed it. Here we go. So it should work now. Let's see.
Actually, I opened up After Effects for the first time since college. Man, it looks beautiful, man. I just jumped right in. I could figure out how to move all these things. Like, yeah, game, set, match. This is fun.
Both those programs, I actually messed with After Effects a little bit, made some things, but every time I made something, I felt my brain just being wrenched. I'm like, oh, I can't, like I made something, I built, what do you call it? Like a trolley, put the camera on it, ran the trolley by the word that I had. It came out really good. I was like, that was dope, but it took me like a fucking week. So now in Premiere, they have AI-based rotoscoping. So you just draw around what you want, hit the play button, and as long as it's not too intricate, it'll rotoscope that whole image for you. And then you just render it out as an alpha channel, and boom. Bob's your uncle, as they say.
Right. Katie
And
White
they
wants
added-
to know
sorry.
about the shout out clips. Are you asking about the shout out commands, or are you asking about the
awesome shout out from Streamlabs.
Right.
Stream Elements, probably.
The awesome shout out is probably the way to go.
There
That's
you go. Confetti. Mike Colossal just redeemed the confetti. That's definitely triggering from LioranBoard as well. That's a simple command. It's just a source that's being turned on and off. And I assigned a channel point redemption for it. It's super easy. You can do it in 2 seconds in the LioranBoard once you figure out how to run in the command editor. It's a lot of fun because now it opens up a lot of ideas, because there was a lot of automation happening on certain channels and I couldn't figure it out. And now I'm starting to like understand, oh, this is what they're doing. And it's a lot of fun. I got to admit, it's a lot of fun.
Dude, that photograph thing that Joshua was talking about earlier, that like blew my mind. It's like it's triggered by the channel points, but it's just so slick. I'm like,
I'm not gonna lie, that thing was a bitch.
I was like, what the hell?
So Andy Lippy
You gotta check that out.
is a guy who makes a ton of videos on how to, and I've actually somehow wiggled my way into their little corner and become friends with them.
Super
So
dope.
oftentimes I take kind of the ideas that are coming down the pipe from them, and I say to myself, well, how can I do this? How can I make, like, he has one where it's a Polaroid. And the first thing I thought is like, well, Polaroids are cool, but we're DJs. We need to do like a press shot, And then it was like, oh, let's do glamour shots. And that's how that came about. And it changed from a Polaroid to like a 6x9 with my little autograph that comes up.
Right.
That shit took forever though, dude. Like, honestly, like I was like trying it. The autograph was over here. And then, it wasn't sending to the Discord. If you go to the Discord, there's all the pictures. I'll put it in the chat. You guys want to look at it. It's all the pictures that have ever been taken by people. I should have put a longer countdown. So what happens on my end, you guys probably can't hear it. It goes, cameras ready, prepare to flash. Beep, beep, beep. If I don't hear that because there's music playing, I think that's what happened too with your mom's. Like, I didn't hear the beep, beep, beep because my speakers were ripping. And of course the picture, I'm like,
And that's even better though.
That's what I'm saying.
the
Like
log
people
ride
like to
picture
see
from
people
Disneyland
like
shit.
to see fails. Like people like to see that side of shit. Like it doesn't all have to be perfect.
I love
So but I think that's what led me down the LioranBoard over the touch, because I had touch portal too.
DeLorean
And it
board.
was the fact that I can grab my users, my community's information and put it into my show. Being like, hey, listen, this isn't just me. I'm going to take your picture and your name and we're going to do something together on the stream. Like, that was kind of the thing for me.
Next level, man.
Thanks, man.
Like two levels, at least 2 levels.
And thanks for just being, responsive when questions come about. I mean, I pulled the trigger shortly after you hit me back on that whole PC question. So,
oh, nice.
I partly have you to blame, you and Catch 22.
It's a fun road, but
I mean, I've only been a Mac user my entire life. I'm quietly
same,
terrified
man. It's
about it,
fucking
but
trippy.
so excited.
dude, I didn't even know how to operate the start button. Like when I first got a PC, I'm like, where do I go to get into my programs? Like I haven't touched one of these since like Windows 98. I have no friggin' idea.
I tried to shut down the computer using the keyboard shortcut commands, and it doesn't even fucking work anymore. I'm like, Control Escape, that's the start. Now I'm like, wait, it didn't go into the shutdown menu. I'm like, what the fuck? Because I've been on it the same. I've been on a Mac for fucking 10, 15 years.
Right, exactly. Oh, let me fix this. Okay, it's almost done. I almost got it fixed. I got to do one more command.
All right, here I'm gonna put that. I put the link to that Discord in the chat. That's that way. You just if you've never seen it, it just once it's in the middle of the stream, somebody redeems it. It does a countdown. It takes a picture, but it's not. You don't see the picture being taken. It's being taken in another scene, and then the picture like flies in, freezes. My signature goes across it, and then it flies away. And then when it flies away, it actually goes to Discord in the link that I put. So
these are amazing.
Yo, we got a rated Citizen
Yeah, big
Richard.
up Citizen
What
Richard.
Up? Appreciate
Hey.
it, Citizen Richard. Thank you so much
They
for
were
the
looking-
raid. Big up.
They were
Big up,
looking for
Raiders.
me, but I'm here.
This is DJs Not DJing. We do this on Wednesdays. It's exactly what it sounds like. Bunch of DJs sitting around talking shop. You'll hate it. Hang out. Have a good time. Appreciate you being here. What up, Citizen Richard? How was your stream? What were you guys streaming about? Big up. Let me know.
He streams about rock, punk, like ska, like older, like he kind of does like a hybrid kind of talk show.
Sick.
Nice.
Yeah, Aiden's been on it, and that's what they were looking for me, but I wasn't on. I'm here.
Dope. Well, welcome. I appreciate you being here. Right now, we're talking about LioranBoard, and we're going to start talking about OBS 27 in just a second. As soon as I'm stuck on fixing the drop now, so I'm almost done fixing this drop. Okay, perfect.
And is that an original tour shirt?
Me?
Yeah.
No. I got this shirt like a year ago or something. Off the
I was
website.
gonna say that was
Like
my
Target.
that was my
Years
first
ago.
concert, and I didn't get a shirt, and I'm still pissed about it.
Oh, right.
NTD,
on.
you should have said yes
I
and
wish.
sell it for $300.
Nice,
Yeah,
Joshua Carl.
$300. Is that?
I was gonna say it looks really good shape.
All right, so now that should perfect.
He said you look in really good shape, Entity.
Thank you.
Oh,
you
the
work
shirt,
out?
The shirt. The
Let's
shirt.
drop again.
Dude, I'm wearing the hell out of my From the NX shirt. That thing is comfortable.
Heck
It's a
yeah!
half sleeve too, so it still works even though it's not. It's still springtime, you know.
Yes, now it works. Perfect. That's all I needed to do. So in this
try.
command strip, let me see if I can create. I'll just tell you guys what it is. In this command strip,
I'm getting there. Don't hit me. Don't hit me. Oh,
I have it.
come on.
First thing it does, first of all, the button is just called drop. I press drop, and the first thing it does is it types a command in the chat. It says reset drop, and that resets
Back.
the game, right? And then I turn the drop source on, and I turn off the stream avatars. And then once the stream, and then it starts typing all those things in the chat. Type drop to play, including me typing drop
GG.
myself. And then it goes through up until 60 seconds, and then everything reverses, and it goes. The stream avatars come back, and the drop game disappears. And then there's a channel point redemption for it as well.
All automated.
All automated for one
That's
button.
amazing.
press.
Dope.
But with lots of little trial and error stuff midstream.
Yeah. And then it
So you
only
gotta
took me
be
half an
prepared
hour
for
to
that,
fucking
too.
dick with it online while you guys were chatting about it. So yeah, good times. LioranBoard, I'm a fan. Everybody got everybody on the same page here. That's awesome.
I think if you say it one more time, then like Beetlejuice shows up or something.
I think so. They're not paying for that either. Obviously, they wish they would. I don't think they can afford it.
Beetlejuice.
LioranBoard. Okay, Beetlejuice 2. Next on our agenda, and this is the main topic of the night, OBS 27. Now, before we get started, I wanted to tell y'all, I was planning on having OBS 27 and like doing a demo with the user interface and everything on the screen, and I didn't get very far into OBS 27 before I saw the beta-ness of the beta, and I had to back out and go back to 26.1.1 before we even started streaming this evening. And so I don't have a full interactive demo on hand, but we can absolutely still do two things. One, we can go through the release notes together. And also, I happen to know, sorry, I'm belching, Jameson Belch. I also happen to know that there's a few people in the Zoom right now that are running running OBS 27 and have experiences to share. So I feel like we can do both of those and still walk away from this with some decent information.
Can I just add something to the agenda for some point today?
Yeah.
I want to talk about how amazing it was that Deep sampled your laugh and used it on the show.
I have no idea whose laugh that is. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's incredible.
It is actually pretty incredible. It threw me
That
off.
video he cut was fucking amazing.
Yeah, video of
I saw some pretty good review YouTube videos that kind of go over some of the bigger features of 27.
Yes, I did see some of those too. We can go through them. We can go through it all if you guys want.
So I don't have it myself yet, but I did see those videos and I'm pretty stoked on getting it. Even the small things like the undo feature.
Let's talk about that first thing. So I got the liner notes up. The first thing on the liner notes, and anybody who has any level of experience in OBS appreciates the first feature added, and that is the ability to Control-Z to undo and Control-Shift-Z or Control-Y to redo. How bad have we all wanted this feature? We can literally go around the horn right now, and I'm sure everybody has some sort of experience with them accidentally fucking up and then instinctively trying to undo.
Yeah.
And then being greeted with a, no, that's just not going to work in this program.
Yeah, this doesn't work. That nothing
Great. I
happens.
want to move the logo in my corner to a different corner. Oh, you didn't actually click on the logo. You clicked on the asset that's above it that's transparent right now, but you clicked on it and you're dragging that asset instead. Oh, you don't remember the pixel perfect transform that thing was? Too bad, buddy.
Your ass out.
Yeah, too bad.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops! You accidentally deleted your camera scene while you're streaming. Whoops.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, make a new one. Oh, you
dude.
can't name it
Wow.
the same as one because it already exists. But I just deleted it.
Yep.
Yep.
Didn't realize it wasn't locked. Was trying to get rid of something. Like grabbed it, deleted, and went, "Oh shit."
Oh shit.
Oh man, we've all, dude, and I used to say when I was first streaming, because I don't know about y'all, but there seems to be a similar cycle, and it's you start with OBS Studio, and then you go to Slobs, and then you go back to OBS Studio. It seems to be the way that a lot of us sort of did it, and
That's fair.
and so
Guilty
like
as charged.
right, and so for me, when I was in that, going from OBS Studio and then going to Slobs, and then going back to OBS Studio, Slobs has had undo, right?
Yes.
And so there was a time when I was still designing my scenes in Slobs and then exporting it for use in OBS Studio because the design tools I felt were faster in Slobs. And part of it was because I could just undo at free will. And so I felt like I could just hammer it, right? But since those days, I have definitely changed my workflow to deal with some of the lackluster development tools in OBS Studio compared to Slobs. We talk about Slobs being a resource hog. We talk about Slobs being like inferior in a lot of ways when it compared to OBS Studio. But I absolutely would have argued even up till recently that as far as creativity goes and design work, there's a little bit more functionality in Streamlabs than in OBS Studio. Another thing that's still in Slobs that isn't really in OBS Studio is like a locking snap grid to where you know you're exactly in the middle or you know you're exactly a third.
I asked for a grid. I asked for like a Photoshop. You know, in Photoshop you can turn the grid on and off.
Right.
And it allows you to like line things. I was like, how come we don't have this? Like,
Right.
you can toggle it on and off. Like, I don't understand. What I used to do is I made a grid, a PNG file at 1080p, and I crosshairs,
Same
and I would
thing.
drop that. I had to because it was like, I think I was perfect, and then I'd go watch a replay, and I'm like, Wait a second.
That's not quite right.
Mine is always the horizontal line on because I've got my GoPro on a tripod, but there's a couch there and I've got a kid. And so, it'll just shift and all of a sudden like a week will go by and I'm like, oh, I'm seasick.
I'm no longer horizontally aligned. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think that undo is like as like what Josh said as rudimentary of a feature and as much as it's been in
as
our
basic
life.
as it sounds.
Yeah,
it's fucking
exactly.
exciting as shit.
We're fucking stoked,
Yes!
dude. Like
It's like having the time stone. That's huge.
oh, man.
Guys, we've got undo.
Right? Oh.
So
I
I'm
never-
still
I
curious
never
to
made a
see like
mistake,
what
so-
kind of actions that doesn't apply to. Like are there large actions that it still won't be able to undo? Like if you delete an entire scene collection, or like where's the
delete
cutoff
shit.
on that?
And I haven't seen how many it goes back.
Right, that's the only thing I haven't seen either. Is how many steps you can go back.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Yeah,
too,
that's another
right?
good one.
Yep.
I'll have to make some
But
mistakes.
you can delete sources and delete shit or whatever and bring it back. Like,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
just like
deleting,
it's
transforming.
not like
That's
I
amazing.
moved this over here and that's done, or I resized this and that's done. Like you could legit delete shit and like bring it
Right.
back.
Right.
Yeah,
You can,
and you
what
can
about
do it a
stinger
few-
I've seen
overrides?
that.
You can do a few different steps too. I just don't know how far back it goes.
Right.
You can
right.
tell when the software has become like bigger and a lot more designers are using it because the last two updates have included undo and then the last one included duplicate.
Yep.
So it's like 2 functions that are super common in like,
Post designing.
Premiere, yeah, pretty much all of them. I finally got into the software now.
So it's like the programmers did their thing, and now the designers are implementing their needs, right?
Yeah. It's the same dudes.
Same dudes,
Or dude.
or one dude.
Probably.
It's 2 groups, but there's a guy in between. He takes the messages from Tim, brings them to the engineers, so the engineers don't have to. He's a people person.
Right. I gotcha.
He does all the work. Okay, undo, amazing. We can all agree that we've been there. Undo, not having undo sucks. It was like all of us had that experience where we thought to ourselves, does this app really not have undo? And then we maybe even Googled it and came to the conclusion that it did not have an undo. It feels like that's something that would be a system-wide feature. As long, you know what I mean? Like, and it's how could it not be in this application? So great job for having that. The next one on the top of the list says track matte transitions, a new type of Stinger transition that lets you show parts of both the origin scene and the destination scene at the same time during the transition. I think the best person to explain this right now would be Joshua Carl. Joshua Carl.
No idea how to do these. No, I'm
Okay.
just kidding. So to date, transitions were done by hiding the transition point behind something on top of it. So you'd make a wall that would come across, and when it hits here, you tell it at 1200 milliseconds. That's
here
when
we
you
go.
swip the videos.
Ready,
And then
watch.
when it goes by, and you're like, oh hey, look, that's a cool. There you go. Fader's got one. Perfect.
There you go.
That's the standard transition. The new one now, well, not new one, the new track matting system allows you to now have something actually swipe across the screen, and the trail on either side will remain that scene. So it's actually like a legitimate wipe. One of the coolest ones I saw was actually wipers on a wiper blade on a car. Like it's a car in a front end, and when the wiper blade goes through, like the new video comes through. I made a couple. I'll put a link here in the chat. It's just a small video file that I hosted on Imager. I'm not gonna lie, it's another thing that you're gonna have to wrap your head around, a new way of creating these. Basically, you make 2 templates in the same file. So if you're doing 720p files, you now need to make it 1440. So it's gonna look like a double wide screen like this. And on the left side is your actual color image that you have to take out the background. So you're going to have to chroma out whatever is behind it. And then the one on the right is actually the matte, which is actually what the software uses as its swipe. So
Do you put that
when
in
you
2
drop-
separate files?
you can, but if you do it in separate files, they can go out of sync. OBS gives you the option.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
OBS gives you the option to do a double stack file like this. So on the bottom, you have the track matte, which is a black and white one. Just like in Photoshop, if you're going to do a matte, like if you're going to do like
mask,
mask, yeah.
Yeah.
You do that. You can do it on the bottom and the top, or you can do it left and right. And OBS looks at both of them, puts them together, and then creates the swipe. And honestly, like you can build whatever you want. The coolest thing about this, and
my brain is bubbling and also hurting at the same time. Dude, like.
Stupid dumb luck. If you're a member of a lot of these like designer crews, like Digital Juice, their swipes and transitions and reveals come with the track matte file. I discovered this like 2 nights ago, I think was it, guys? And it's amazing because you download the track matte, you download the regular file, you drop them both in Premiere or whatever you work in, render them out as a WebM file, done. Drop it in OBS, done.
Have you tried using their track mats just as a targeted mat without having to even go into Premiere and cut it together?
No, I haven't actually, but
okay.
They're huge.
I'm just curious, like if it's close, I mean, why not save yourself the step and just drop the mat into OBS as the file?
Yeah,
because it looks like you can target the file, right? So
yeah, you can pick the two. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
The problem is and I'm gonna have to mess with this. I've noticed some of the alpha files that come from this is just Digital Juice.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be an alpha file, but when you open it, it's actually like a reverse track mat.
Right.
So it's not what you want. Basically, if you want to start easy, you just think of like a swipe like this, and you go into Premiere and you just take a black block on a white canvas and keyframe it across.
Yep.
And then you put something in the middle, like a fire or a pipe or a baseball bat, and you just animate that across with it. And then when you drop it in OBS, you'll get the swipe. So I actually, that video that I sent you guys, I actually have that in here.
Oh, virtual cam it in, bro. Let's go.
So the disclaimer would be, you might be able to save a step by using 2 separate files. Just be wary that they may not be perfectly synced.
Yeah, and they might not be.
Once you get them synced, the other thing is that your computer has to load 2 files at the exact same time instead of just 1 file.
And that could fuck shit up. That task alone, depending on the size of your stinger or whatever you're using, could cause shit to come to a screech.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yep. And I think
I put it in the chat. It's just going to open an imager thing. It's a little video clip. You can check it out.
Perfect.
The thing about that is, like I said, if that original file, the video file, isn't a WebM or a ProRes, something with the alpha channel abilities, you're not going to get that clear. You're going to have a black background, and it's going to do what it's going to do, but it's not. You're not going to get that 2-sided animation. If you click the link there, you'll see like when the water comes, it comes, and then as it's going down, you see like the video come through it and stuff. So, like I said, if you want to, I think there are free ones on Digital Juice. I don't know about. There's another one, motion loops, I think, or something like that.
Motion loops.
And then there's Motion Array. Maybe that's it. Also, if you have an Adobe account, you can go into their stock. They added, I think, those, and they added Mogurt files, which are
Mogurt
typography.
Delicious.
MOGRT. They're animated After Effects files that are for typography that load by default into Premiere. So you can have logo text animations on and off, swiping off screen in alpha channel format, animated. All you do is just plug the word in. Like you want to, whatever you need it to say, you plug it in, render it out, it's done. The animation, the swipes, the crazy graphics, done. So
Final Cut used to have that built in. No, I take that back. It was a separate program that came along with it.
Motion.
Motion. Yeah. Yep.
Man, I missed that program. That was a fun one.
Yeah, Motion was great. Shake was really cool too. I had a really good time with Shake.
Joshua, you explained that really well.
Yes.
Thank you.
You can always hit up YouTube. Some of those new videos that cover the updates, they have, sometimes if you see it visually, it'll match up with exactly what you were just saying. It makes a lot of sense when you can actually see the map files, for example.
Yeah, Andy Lippy's, I think, photo or his video was pretty good.
Yeah, Andy and Apos did one too, and I watch all those guys.
Yeah.
You almost have to, like, if not saying you have to, but for me, I have to. If something sneaks by me, I get mad. I'm like, what? How did I not know that did that?
Oh, you
They're
know,
quick and digestible enough. I mean,
yeah,
they really are.
You know what almost is gonna sneak by us, but I want to make sure it doesn't sneak by us, Billy. Is that next Wednesday is Joshua Carl's birthday,
What?
It is.
and he hasn't let it out of the bag of what he's doing or anything. Of
I'm
that
not doing
nature.
anything.
So I just want to make sure we give him some mad props, maybe a week ahead of time. I don't know if he's gonna chime in next week, if he's gonna be here. So I'm thinking maybe we should just sing happy birthday to him now in case he's not here next week.
No, you can wait for next week. I'll be here. I don't do anything for my birthday. I never have. It's just
You're
one of those
always
things.
working.
Okay,
so
Josh,
I want to hear that.
Can we
That's
can
true.
we hold you to it and get it
Right.
on recording now that you will at least stop by for a few minutes next week on your birthday.
What
so
else
that,
do I get
so
to
that
do?
we can wish you a happy birthday. Okay.
A lot.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last year, actually, you know what's funny? Last year, my wife actually reached out to like all the people I deployed with and friends who I hadn't seen in a long time. Maybe you guys remember, like when we first in pandemic, it was like a cool thing to get everybody together and make these like happy birthday videos.
Mhm.
So she did that for me last year.
She just did that for you right now too.
But we got Plinko
Oh,
and
Jesus
drop
Christ.
happening right now at the same time. I didn't know I could do that. Okay, let me fix this real quick. I'm still in here dicking around with Plinko and drop.
Well, while we're talking about OBS 27, I'd like to say that finally they made the Mac beta a little bit more tolerable and almost looks like the PC version in that I now can have the web modules added in, and so I don't have to have like a separate browser opened up at the same time.
Your custom
It-
browser docs.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So let's talk
I'm
about
so-
that. I
that's-
wanted to
that's
talk
on the
to you
list, too.
specifically about that because you are the Mac user that is struggling right now. And we've had this conversation. We've had this conversation on previous episodes on how, and to the point where you literally have a PC coming in the mail.
It arrives tomorrow.
It arrives tomorrow.
Oh,
okay.
boy.
And so the plot thickens, right? And this is almost a Murphy's Law scenario. And I know that you hinted on it already. You were like, am I going to regret buying this PC because of the features that have been added to OBS 27 on the Mac edition? Now, when we were talking about this in Discord earlier, by the way, exclamation point Discord in the chat, please. When we were talking about this on Discord earlier, the question I originally asked was, is anybody out there using OBS 27? And this was when I was going through it, rolling back to 26.11, because my experience on the PC was crap, right? And so everybody in the chat who had a PC had something to say that wasn't quite right with OBS 27. But then to the contrary, anybody who was using a Mac was saying, this isn't bad. I'm not mad at this beta at all. And so it's almost like a weird, ironic circumstance that the Mac version of the software is getting the thumbs up early and the Windows version is getting the thumb sideways right now, and in my opinion. And so big up everyone using OBS Studio on a Mac. This is your moment to prevail. You've been waiting for this moment for years, and now you have the shine. Your version is looking better, in my opinion, than the PC version right now. Ocean Eiler, my man, the librarian at the From the Annex channel, exclamation point, shout out to From the Annex in the chat, please.
Hey.
Can you give us your early impressions on the Mac version thus far?
Jesus, Mary, and Joseph is really, I mean, yes, it's got some buggy beta things, but all of a sudden it felt like I was running OBS for real and not just OBS like with training wheels with half the it was a jalopy. I mean, it really was. The transition swipes are beautiful now and they're functional and they don't crash my 2015 MacBook Pro. The custom modules are great. Putting them in their place is a little buggy. In that if the size of whatever that module is at the time, as you're trying to put it in, sometimes it won't allow it to go in, and then it'll just shrink it to like, I don't know, about like 20 pixels long and just make it really tall. And it's really weird. But it's CPU, it's just sipping on the CPU. It's not like up, I think I maxed out at 8% on my CPU, which was the first time ever. It's usually a CPU hog. Yeah, no, I'm loving it all the way. I kept the other version installed just in case I had to like jump back real quick. And no, I think I'll just keep it.
Well, I know that 26.1.2 is actually was a Mac exclusive version, and so there has been a recent focus from from an outside perspective. Obviously, I have no inside information, but from an outsider's perspective, it seems like there's been a recent focus on improving this bad reputation that OBS Studio has on a Mac. And so hearing you sing its praises, especially somebody who's, gonna run it through the ringer like yourself, super dope to hear that. Now, Chuck the Bounty Hunter, you had your experiences as well. You're running it on a Mac too? Yep.
And so it was similar. So as I was excited for the browser docs, right? More than anything, that was what got me. Yeah, the undo and stuff is great, but the browser docs, because that was going to allow me to go from using 3 computers in the stream to 2, right? Which is great. I can use
now
one
you
for
can
my
consolidate
music and
one of
for
your
my stream.
what you were using a browser for in your OBS. Yep. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No. And so I was stoked on that until I started to arrange them and try and resize them. And that's when I was like, okay. So this is not ready for prime time yet, but it's getting there. I was able to, basically I could move a browser, I could resize it one direction, and that was it. I couldn't bring it back another direction. I'd have to close OBS, reopen it again, and then I could move it one direction, close OBS, open OBS again, and I could move it again.
That's rough.
I'm guessing undo doesn't work for that, huh?
Yeah, no undo for that, yeah.
There's no undo for that. One of the things that is interesting as well is that, have you had to force quit things since you've launched it? Like, so I run a program, I think it's called Looper. It allows me to grab desktop audio. What is this thing called? Loopback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Loopback, yep.
And so I use Loopback, and Loopback with the new OBS will work in with one another, and they'll just not want to quit until I have to like actively force quit them.
No, that's a good point you're bringing up, because a lot of people are using things like Loopback with their Serato now. When they're doing their one PC, one MacBook Pro to rule them all type streams, right? Where they're running OBS and Serato on the same computer. And this was a feature that was recently added, not recommended hardly at all, really, unless you're doing something really basic. But absolutely. But Serato did recently add this as a feature in one of the recent updates, where you can use, which one do they suggest, Joshua Carl, for their version of Loopback? It was like I Show You, or one of those ones.
Yeah, and the Matt that I Show You is the one Serato likes.
Right. So I'm curious how I Show You is reacting on the Mac version of OBS 27, since it's a similar situation where it's doing using the audio MIDI setup utility to create like a its own, emulating an audio device. You know what I mean? In order to be able to capture it in something like OBS. What's it called? A consolidated device, or aggregate. Sorry, an aggregated device. Yeah, exactly. So I'm curious how it's affecting other types of aggregate devices that are like I Show You. I think the other one was Spin Stream, that was out there for a while, that had that funny, like, we can get you around DMCA by pitching everything down 2 semitones.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, remember that?
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So I had issues with Advanced Scene Switcher and OBS 27, right? So being on a Mac and not having access to things like LioranBoard and things like that, we have to go around and do different things to automate our stuff. So I use like Better Points and Advanced Scene Switcher and different things like this to add my delays and do my channel point redemptions and change scenes. However, every time I would launch OBS 27, it said there's a new version of Advanced Scene Switcher so sure, do I want to make a backup of it? And you click, okay, sure, I'm going to back this up. And then it allows you to save a file. And then OBS opens and closes. And that's just what it did, right? So then you hit no, and it does the same thing. So I had to go in and actually get into the files of OBS, remove the plugin, and then OBS would open. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get around that yet. But that's like my one hurdle is figuring out how I'm going to run my delays so that I can have my stingers and all that types of stuff to get in there. It's a little bit of a different beast now to deal with.
Librarian, question for you.
Go for it.
And this is getting straight to the point here.
Yes.
With your PC coming in the mail,
Do I regret it?
If this version of OBS 27, and when the full release comes out and the wrinkles are ironed out, do you think that the feature set in this new version is enough to convince you to send the PC back?
No, because there's not LioranBoard, or however I say it.
DeLorean-board?
DeLorean-board. Yeah, no, there's so much. It is still a PC game as far as streaming goes, hands down. And I can't contest with that. I've fought since 2017 now, since I've gotten on Twitch, about it. I've been like, no, I'm going to stay a Mac. I'm going to stay a Mac. And all my gamer friends, my gamer friend, level up lady who got me on this thing to begin with, like, has been pushing me to get a PC. And then I got E-Rock there as well, who's been pushing me to do the same thing, and Catch-22 in the chat. And it's, no.
Yeah,
to
the
be
smaller,
in this
I would
space,
say,
it's what
like,
I need.
Yeah, beyond the exclusivities that were featured, some of the feature sets that are now no longer exclusive to Windows. Like some of these exclusive features are coming onto a Mac. Something that is still exclusive to the Windows platform is the extended development of this open source broadcasting software, right? You've got these little extensions and plugins and little apps that work with it that are only developed on a PC, and you couldn't go to GitHub and get that for a Mac. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's all of that extended development that is exclusive to a PC still. I could see that. It's a PC's world for streaming. You're absolutely right.
I do have to laugh though. The PC I bought is more expensive than any Mac I've ever purchased.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, damn. You missed one. What'd you get? Give us
I bought
the hot
height
rod?
of the market. Oh my god.
GTX 4080.
Can you give us a tale? We all want to know. We're drooling right now.
Tape. We want specs.
Now I gotta pull it up. I ended up going with i7 instead of i9. I went Intel instead of AMD. Thank you. No, it was actually because of the graphics card that was wedged in this thing is why I bought it. I think it was the 3070.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, it was the 3070 is what it was, and I was just like, go, and it was in a pre-built package, and so I just kind of
that level of processor is absolutely fine with a 3070. NVENC will take care of anything that the i7 doesn't need to do. So.
Yeah,
you're fucking
Especially
money.
It's like a later Gen i7 anyway, because like the later the later Gen i5s, the later Gen i7s, whatever, they're still doing like fucking
They're clowning.
That's like it's just so close. Like there's not that much difference between like an i5 9th gen, 10th gen, and like an i9 like later on or whatever.
My big catch now is that I'm looking at the Blackmagic capture card, so I can run multiple GoPros more or less. And then
Catch-22 has one of those. He has a 4-port Blackmagic PCIX card and a PCI card, and it's legit, dude. Like he has it shows up as 4 video sources that you can select in OBS. You know what I mean? Like those ATEM minis and those things that you see that are outboard, those consolidate down to 1 feed, right? So you can only pick that feed in OBS. Whereas you get one of these cards that has 4 HDMI ports on the back, those 4 sources show up as individual sources in your OBS production, and obviously that opens up a lot of doors. Last I checked, LioranBoard isn't controlling an ATEM mini, so there's no automation there, right? You still got to reach over and change the camera if you're doing anything with something like that. So
now my only last step is that I'm gonna rip it out of the box it's in. I'm gonna rack mount that fucker.
Ooh, yeah.
Because why not? I've got a studio and I've got this like rolling like suitcase with all the rest of my gear, and I might as well just stuff it in there.
Stick it in the rack. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
It's got plenty of room to breathe, so you're good.
Yeah.
By the way, can we just bring up my man's setup one more time? I love looking at your room. Like this room is like fucking DJ boner, dude. Like it's just everything. You got like all these
Sexy.
big crazy analog boxes with reverb knobs and shit and spring reverbs and tape delay type shits and fucking all kinds of just dubtastic shit going on. And then you've got your turntables with your 900, and then you've got the Techniques, the modified
DZs, yeah.
DZs, the modified DZs that act like a Rain 12. They send a DVS signal.
Yep.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
And you know what's funny? When we're talking about regret, when I hit the button on go, I said, man, I could have been within striking distance of getting the V10 and getting 6 channels in here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only part that I was like, oh, I could have done that. No,
Yeah.
no, I need a PC.
Goals for next year.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I've got goals for next year.
Right.
Yeah, just get the V10 Nexus 2 when it comes out.
Now get the V. I always buy used. Come on now.
I'm okay.
You never
with
buy
being
new anything.
I'm okay with being a generation behind. Usually they work a little bit better than Rev A, anyways. Rev B is usually Rev C is the way to go, man. They worked out all the kinks by then. You know what I mean? It's good.
Okay.
So the next thing, first of all, okay, so that was track mat transitions. I don't know where we ended up, but that was where we started with that. Okay.
Sick.
And the Mac, and obviously we went on the Mac tangent as well.
And Joshua Carl's birthday.
We did.
Yep.
Right.
And Joshua was Carl's birthday.
Yes, and Joshua Carl's birthday.
Does anybody know how old I'll be?
Over 40.
Old.
43.
40. No, I'm 43. He's not 43. I'm gonna say 48.
So here's one for the Windows team,
Close.
since we went all praises on Mac. Direct integration of the NVIDIA broadcast noise removal on Windows. For those who have a 20 series or better, like my man Joshua Carl, and soon to be Ocean Eiler, you can use the NVIDIA, you can use your GPU as a noise reducer. And it's insanely good because it uses AI. It's not a threshold. It actually mics the room and analyzes what is your voice and what isn't your voice, and it knows the difference. To the point where you could be vacuuming. You could be vacuuming in that room and you won't hear the vacuum. You'll only hear your voice. It's that good.
Well, it's like with any sort of noise cancellation. It's good with some things and not with others.
I've seen some demos that are incredibly impressive.
Yeah, I did a test with it with a keyboard. My boss had a keyboard and picked up the whole keyboard the whole time.
Really?
So yeah.
Interesting. Well, I'm telling you that it looks pretty sick. And if it's anything as good as the native OBS one, then I'll be happy, because I monitor loud on Saturdays and nobody hears shit. And that's using an AI noise suppression, and it's doing great.
Yeah, that might be because it's actually knows the signal that's being sent or something. I don't know.
Well,
It just seems like, some things are better than others. Noise cancellation just in general is more about like background, like humming, like airplane noise, right? That's how like most of it's been.
or the fan that's
designed
running
around.
right now that you can't hear it.
Right.
Totally. Yeah. So, but see, the way that this works that's different, though, is that this is using, this is not a threshold. In other words, it's
Right.
not,
Say
it's,
ooh.
Yeah, no, I think it operates more like AEC or echo cancellation, right? Where it takes a reference and it's going to phase cancel it out,
Right.
and so therefore that those frequencies disappear.
right. And so the way that it has the ability to analyze what is the room noise, and then it takes away the room noise with phase cancellation, and you're left with your voice. And AI noise suppression is incredible. Like, this could do away with the foamy walls and the echoey rooms and the reverby rooms in a lot of ways. And also it could do away with the loud monitoring bleeding into the microphone while we're DJing.
Constantly having to flip the talkover button on and off
right
every time you begin and end a sentence.
I finally got rid of that, man.
But still.
I finally got rid of that, dude. It was one of the hardest things for me to finally. I watched so many videos, and now I run my monitors super loud right in front of this mic, and I found that spot where I added a little duck, just a little, like 5 dB, and then I ran this a couple of compressors and shit, and now I can talk with my mics with my speakers full blast. It won't pick them up. It was driving me crazy. I'd watch my streams back and be like, oh, every time I talk.
Noise suppression.
I'm using like the standard, the better one that's in OBS.
Yes, exactly. They just added that in 26.
Yeah,
the old one.
I tried this one for a bit, but meh.
The old one is the old way of doing it. The old one is where it takes a decibel level and you lower the threshold. And so that the theory is that your voice is louder than the room noise. And so if you lower the threshold low enough, then it'll cut the room noise almost like a gate, and it will allow your voice to be, but it happens on a variable level.
Yeah.
Now on this situation, you have the ability to where this new AI shit, or the better version in OBS and NVIDIA Broadcaster, which is now apparently working natively in OBS 27. That's super exciting for me. I currently am using like a cheaper dynamic microphone that's plugged in to the DJ mixer, and dynamic microphones are great for not having to pick up their whole room compared to a condenser microphone. They're less sensitive to the room noise, and the drawback is that you got to be kind of close, like way up in it to talk, and also the quality is questionable. Condenser mic, a little more sensitive, has a better range. Usually they sound a little bit better. Phantom power type mic like I'm talking into now. And I would love to have like a phantom powered condenser mic as my DJ mic, but the noise, the room noise has always been a factor. And with this new AI noise suppression, it's hardly an issue anymore. It's freaking dope, man.
Man, if it can get rid of my fader clicks, I'm all over it.
Right. Fix my shitty mixing.
If you can get rid of fader for me, then it'll be worth
it.
What a dick.
That was record time though. That took a while.
Yeah, right.
Is that the 57S there? You're handling? Yeah.
This is the MV7.
MV7. Sorry.
That looks sick. Oh, dude, that looks great.
That's pretty.
That's a sexy mic.
Yeah.
And that goes over USB or XLR, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have the inkling to do it through USB, just so I have like a little bit more control over it and put it up into OBS that way, and then probably with my Stream Deck or LioranBoard be able to like run some cool like voice effects and shit that I do weird shit on my stream.
Well, with USB it becomes its own source.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if it's XLR,
yeah, it's got to be like somewhere.
Whatever else is on the XLR mixer,
which is no different than my mixer that I've got over there, like my mic that I've got over there now. You know what I mean? And like, the mic may sound a little better, but the whole point of me kind of like rerouting all that is so like I run pretty good, levels for my sound. So when I get drunk and get excited, I'm coming in a little too hot. I want to, throw a little ducking on there. And
Who does
have
that?
Have
Who
that
does that?
be a little separate. So I just haven't done it yet. I need to like commit and do it, and I just haven't done it yet because that's like, adding a fucking audio source to every single one of my fucking scenes.
Yeah, straight up.
Like changing up everything, and that's a lot.
It's funny that you brought that up because I run effects on my voice and all that all the time, and it was actually one of the hard parts I had when I tried to just route it in to the system, because then I realized I've been perfecting this, the RE20 here for years, and now I can't use it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, now I got to figure out what VST files can I combine to make it kind of sound like an RE20?
Yeah, right. That's what I think that's the bridge I'm eventually gonna have to cross, because on my DJ controller I can pitch down my fucking voice or up, or I can echo it just by the onboard effects that that Pioneer DJ controller has.
You could chime in on that too. Sorry.
The alternative of that. That's it. Finding the alternative to do that.
Entity could chime in on that. I know Entity loves to run a lot of VST plugins through his microphone on his streams.
Actually, I use this little thing right here. Oh no, there goes my phone. It's just a TC Helicon little vocal performer deal. And it has different effects, and then also it has an app where you can basically upload more presets to it.
Oh, that's
combinations of effects. Yeah.
And so you're running your mic through that. Shows. You're running your mic through that into your DJ mixer.
Yeah, exactly. So it goes to that first, and then the DJ mixer, and it has a little general compression and stuff that it puts on the mic.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat, so it sounds pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Also, there's a little bit of a dynamic compression and
yeah,
stuff.
It doesn't let you control that part. It's just called tone, but it does put a little bit of compression and stuff on it.
That's nice.
Put that in the chat, man. I want to know more about that thing.
Yeah, that looks like I want one.
Yeah. For sure.
You just let the sauce out.
All right, sorry to put you on blast
for
like
live
that.
Shows.
No, but I noticed in the Zoom, you always have the great mic tricks on deck, dude. It's really awesome. When we're opening up the pit, or you just the auto tune and everything else. It's
it's mostly that, but lately I've also incorporated the Pioneer mixers effects.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's a combination sometimes.
Yeah, I'm already missing because I recently sent back the S11. I'm already missing some of the Pioneer hardware effects.
Sure.
So there might be a mixer on the credit card here in the near future. We'll see. I haven't charged anything in a year, and the credit card companies are like, "You need to buy something, dude. Your shit's just fucking sitting there."
Yeah.
Billy, would it still be the 11?
What's that?
Would it still be the 11 if it's going to turn you?
You know what? I probably would be fine with the 7. I'm not the 7. Is it the S? Yeah, the 7.
S7.
Yeah, I probably would be fine with the 7. Because I don't plan on getting rid of my XP1. And a lot of the functionality is in the XP1. And really what I'm only looking for are the Pioneer hardware effects. I don't need any of the functionality beyond on the face of any of those mixers. In fact, I could probably be fine with a DJM 450 if I really wanted to slim my budget down and go with exactly what I needed, because the 450 has XLR outputs, a booth output, and the Pioneer hardware effects. Everything else is on the XP1, all the pads and the sync button. Oh man, I need that sync button so bad. I don't know what I would do without it. Just kidding.
So the 7's basically the 11 without the screen was the review, and I was reading some reviews where it was actually.
Well, also it has 32-bit output sound card. It doesn't have the 64-bit, so it sounds more like a S9 than it does the 900. Right.
So that's why people were saying the S7's pretty much the true successor to the 9, right?
Right.
The 11, the next level up. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
The 9, they put the goods when it comes to the sound card. It's got the 64-bit processing. It's got basically the Nexus sound card in it. They were not going to say it's the Nexus sound card, but it's basically the Nexus sound card.
But you know.
It has all the same specs. And so yeah, the S11, I loved it. I loved it. It was a great mixer, but it's honestly it was like I said in my review on YouTube, !YouTube in the chat. Like I said in my review on YouTube, it was lacking some functionality for what it was designed to be, which is a mixer for turntable DJs. Not having a hardware internal button is just whack. Unless you're using dicers, which a lot of y'all are, I know. But unless you're using dicers, we're switching to internal mode all the time to clean the needle, to move the needle back to the beginning of the record and all this stuff.
Yep.
So like, unless you're using dicers, like you're always switching back to internal mode. And if you have to reach over to your computer and like do the drop down menu or click on the button or whatever, like every time, like it's old. And I'm not kidding you, like that. I use that internal button on my XP1. That's the button I press the most, just to push it on internal, clean the needle, move back, press internal again. It's right back in relative mode and running. You know what I mean? Like
I changed buttons on the S9 for that. To
Yeah,
be
I
able
did.
to switch
Yes.
between absolute and internal, the little selectors on each channel on each
I had
side.
to
right?
remap
Like
buttons.
straight.
Yeah.
Right.
The
Problem
only
with that
thing I remap buttons, which you shouldn't have to. I mean, that's my point.
Ever.
And
Right.
But it
and
still stands.
Didn't have it.
yeah, you shouldn't take away functionality to add functionality you want. Like it should. Then also, the biggest gripe on it was the silent queue, which I really love. Silent queue only being in the screen and not mappable in Rekordbox, and as far as I know, Serato as well. Silent queue is not something that you can map.
Does this stuff only traverse with the DVS software too? What I mean by that is if I MIDI map in Rekordbox and I take the S9 and I leave and I just connect that up somewhere else, is it still the same on the 711 where all that goes away? So you can do some things, like I can change the filter effects and I can do a couple programming the S9 and that'll leave with the mixer. I don't need a computer hooked up to it necessarily, but like on those MIDI remaps, like if I reprogram these buttons or whatever, it needs to be the computer that programmed it, or I've got to load those MIDIs on the computer, whatever DS related connecting, right?
Yeah, the MIDI preferences stay with the laptop, not the mixer. So when I connect my computer to any S9, it has the same mapping for every S9 that I connect to, as opposed to that one S9 where I did the mapping. It doesn't just stay on that one, and then I have to reprogram it for every mixer. Yeah, I know that from Motown on Mondays. Yeah.
Okay.
I know that from Motown on Mondays because on
we'll
Motown on
find
Mondays
it
we
too,
use
yeah, now.
multiple S9s, and it behaved the same on every S9. Like as soon as I did the one mapping,
I would love to see that on a way like, so like the 2000s to 3000s, now that I'm becoming more and more standalone and less DVS, what I'm finding are these problems. I'm going into the S9 and I'm
Big
bringing
up Anthony
stuff.
Garcia, appreciate the follow. Real quick, sorry. Anthony Garcia, appreciate the follow. Go ahead, continue, you rock. My bad.
And so like that's kind of what I was wanting to see is on say on a 3000, my settings follow my USB stick. Just plug the USB stick in, right? Why can't I have the same thing with the S9 or similar, where I can load these settings kind of outside of a DVS program? Now, MIDIs, I understand. MIDI's probably always going to be that way, right? But some of the other features, I would love to travel with the mixer, much like you do with the 3000s. It's just your preferences saved in Rekordbox, right?
I remember specifically, it was Craze. This was back when Craze on his rider, this is showing my age, when Craze's rider included a DJM 909. Okay. And this is when I was working at a club here in Sacramento called The Park. And he shows up, and I was also the person who like helped set up the decks and stuff before the night. I was the opening DJ, right? I was the local guy that opened for the headliner. So I'm the one that takes the decks out of the closet and sets it up on stage and gets everything right, and because I know how to do it and blah blah blah, whatever. Craze shows up for sound check. I think he's the third person to ever show up for sound check. It was him, Z-Trip, and LTJ Bookham were the only 3 DJs that have ever shown up for a sound check. Craze shows up for a sound check, and it's because on his rider he has the DJM 909. He wanted to make sure that the 909 was there. We had a 909 in the closet, so I plugged in the 909, and he had to show up for sound check because of exactly what you're saying. He had to set up all of the effects and everything to be exactly what he wanted, so that when he was performing, it was muscle memory and he could do it blind, right? And so, yeah, the ability to like upload those settings with a USB drive would be amazing. That's an incredible feature request. Like, I think that especially since you can already do it with a CDJ and the Rekordbox software, like that already works, right? So that the demand is, they understand that demand, right? So
right. Right.
I'm
and
surprised they
the
just didn't
products
do
that
it.
sell too. I mean, you can't be reliant on a DVS if you want to sell a 3000. If you want to go out and put 3000s out on a stage, everything's got to be standalone, the mixer included, right? And your settings need to follow the same way. But
Yep.
I'm off my soapbox.
I get it. I feel like that's, you know, on a depending on the scale of the event. Like in my situation, it was a decent size event, and so there's a sound check, there's organization to where those questions can be answered. But like on a smaller or local event where it's like everyone's showing up 30 minutes before their time slot and figuring it out, it could be a pain in the ass, for sure. Thank goodness Rekordbox carries over its settings. All right, moving down the line. This is the next. We're going to wrap it up pretty soon, actually. So I'm going to do a couple of them real quick. First of all, Wayland support is on Linux. I don't think any of us are using the Linux version.
Nope.
sRGB color format support, which is dope. sRGB color format is really, really good. And this is something that they've been talking about for a while. And this is more on the gaming side of things, too. So big up to them on the sRGB color format support. And then we talked about the service integration with browser docs on the Mac and including Linux as well. The last thing I wanted to talk about, and this is actually really cool, Entity pointed this out when he was talking about his review in the Discord, shameless ! Discord plug, is a new missing files dialog warning when some of your sources are missing their underlying files, like images, media sources, etc. Entity, what was your experience with that?
It's basically like when I was building my scenes, like sometimes when you get all complicated, sometimes you'll just like turn off certain things and you'll just kind of forget about it. So right when I booted up the new OBS, it was like, hey, you have this that's looking for this file and that's missing. We don't know where that is. So that was pretty cool. And then I think that led me to the other part where I was like going, okay, well, why do I even have this source here anyways? And then I deleted that, and then OBS just crashed altogether after that, and I couldn't get it working again.
Damn it.
That was basically the end of my experience.
Wow, that's
But
funny.
I
because
did like that feature.
Yeah, I had a similar sort of thing where I throw it into a group folder and had forgotten about said folder. And I think I just turned it off, and it told me that I was missing files and all that. And I was just like, oh, look at that. I can cut down the bloat. Okay, delete, done. I didn't then crash, but oof.
Right.
That sucks, man.
There's
it's
residual
pretty
data.
useful.
There's definitely residual data on my Friday and Saturday. I have different scene collections for every night. So there's a Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday scene collection. And my Friday and Saturday scene collections absolutely have residual data from just learning how to use OBS and like building up your scenes and your overlays and stuff, and like making mistakes and like all kinds of not being able to undo and stuff where you just said fuck it, like, and like if I was to start over, I probably would have a much cleaner workflow, but it's functional and I don't want to do it again. And so I'm sure that there's like some kind of residual data floating around with like sources inside of groups or nesting layers that I'm not using or redundant sources in scenes and things like that. And I'm curious what would happen when OBS 27's files aren't linked correctly. Warning starts popping up, because I'm sure as DJs, this is something that we're used to with library management, right? We've been managing our libraries for years now, and a lot of our music library management tools have included missing file alerts, because we deal with XML catalogs or XML files with like Serato and Rekordbox, which are, and even iTunes, where it's a database that is linking to an original media file. And so when that link is broken, the tool to be able to reconnect it has been there for a while for us. We're used to that, right? And so this coming on to OBS, I'm curious, like like you said, how that's going to help me clean up some of the residual mess of a year of learning how to use this software. Because I'll be damned, I'm not trying to start over on some of these scene collections Even though I know that if I started over and like did it clean, I could probably even reduce the footprint that it's taking, the CPU usage and the, you know what I mean? Like, it probably would cut it down, right? If I just started over again and did it from scratch and did it nice and
like
clean.
re-rendered shit. Into
re-rendered shit down to where it
WebM
needs to be.
and
Yeah, all that
wherever,
kind of shit.
Actually, here's the question, Billy.
They just need better source management.
Yeah.
That's what
When's your
sucks.
next,
I need a list.
When's your next milestone there, Billy?
What do you mean?
Like 100 streams, blah, blah, blah. You know, what is the next milestone for you?
The next milestone is
getting up tomorrow.
Not the bottle in your hand.
Choking down that shot. Okay. Now my next goal is to figure out how this is going to translate into 916 Junglist going back to being an IRL event promotion, and also Billy Lane being a professional DJ in the real world.
Right.
That's my next milestone. Is to do that successfully, because one, I absolutely have an obligation to the subscribers on this channel, and I am taking that very fucking seriously. I am not just going to be like, peace out, y'all. You know what I mean? Like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, that's not, that is not in my nature. And I'm not, it is not anything that I would ever do to anybody. Like, I could never do that. So I have an obligation to the subscribers on this channel. And also, the reality is, and this has been the reality since day one, is that, you know, this channel is supplemental income, but it does not replace the lifestyle and the income revenue stream that I had when I was primarily in event production as a career. And so I have to figure out a way to return to that life while also providing the best content to those who are putting their dollar on the line for this channel. And I'm going to do it. And it's absolutely what's going to happen. Just as much as like a year ago, there were streams of me panicking, right? A year ago, you can even see it on YouTube. There's streams of me literally like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. I have this skill set that is illegal right now, and there's nothing that I can do about it. And like, people were like, oh, just get a real job. Dude, I've been in the live event production industry for the better part of my life. Live events are illegal. What do you want me to do that's supposed to supplement that income? And a lot of us were put in that same situation.
Billy, you just got to pivot. You just got to pivot, Billy. You just got to pivot.
Right? It's so easy. Right?
So that was a wild tangent, way beyond what I was asking.
But you know what I'm saying? My milestone is to successfully like create content for the 916 Junglist channel, and also return to a business that I had prior to any of this happening.
That's not really a milestone. That's like
where I was trying to go with was
there's like a lot of parts to get to that point.
Yeah, I rebuild my stream look and feel as a rebrand probably once a year, and I do it around the Twitch birthday, and it's just it's a mile marker for me, so that when I go back and I look, in some ways, when I'm going back through all my old video feeds, I can go, oh, that was my first year. Here's my second year. Here's my third year, you know, on Twitch. And that's helped me keep down the bloat. Now, mind you, it's also helped me keep from my scenes being ridiculous and amazing. I'm sure yours are, well, I know yours are way beyond what I've been doing.
Fridays are really bad. Saturdays are good too. Saturdays are getting there because of the themed events. And so like there's some stuff left over from some of the themed events where I just muted a source instead of deleting things, because you never know when you might need it again.
Raid trains or whatever, if you're on it, you like do some art for it, but then like leave it. Do all that.
Yep. Yeah. Oh no, totally. You rebuild it in Streamlabs and then, you know, add in the source and pull it away later.
Sure, right. But as far as like the straight overhaul, it's funny you mentioned that, because I recently just did that.
Nice.
You see, there's no giant green screen over here, and I've actually some of my records are out now too, and so I'm really nervous about Friday's stream. I've been pushing this like this Mr. Rogers Neighborhood Pee-wee's Playhouse thing on Fridays, and I'm not joking. Like, that's my real inspiration with Fridays. Like, the idea of having an imaginary world and traveling to it together is like seriously part of the inspiration with Fridays. I know it sounds silly, but it's part of it. And so I've created this adventure where you start in my bedroom, you go to the block party. We start in my bedroom. You go to the you go to the record store.
Is there a secret word?
You put it back. Do it
And
the
then
other
it starts
way.
getting late at the
Start
block
at
party.
the club and end in your bed.
Right? And then you go. And then you go to the red room, and then you like in the red room. Then you go to the terminal. The terminal's like a certain kind of music, and then you go to the red room even later, and that's like the later night kind of music. And then like at the very end of the night, we play a bunch of games, and then we end up back in my bedroom. It's like a whole like narrative that organically sort of, oh, I stopped for tacos along the way, right? Like there's like this whole narrative that's happened on Fridays, and honestly, like it's something that's sort of like just sort of organically started happening. Like none of it was preemptive, but it just sort of happened over the last year. And then on Easter Sunday, this past Sunday, I couldn't take it anymore, and I tore the green screen down and created something kind of like a livable living room for myself to sort of like have like a reset in my brain. And there's going to be like a change in the production because of it. In fact, I could probably bring it up if you guys want to sneak peek real quick. All right, you guys want to peek?
I'll give us a peek.
All right, you guys want to peek?
Too hot for Twitch.
All right.
I mean, you've been talking about it enough. Now I just want to see it.
Yeah, just
All
whip it out right now.
All right, I'll whip it out. Give me a second here. Okay.
You know what I was gonna say is that feature to find the missing files. That would be helpful when you're doing something like swapping your OBS scene collection with Fader or somebody, right? Like
being able to export would be super dope.
Yeah, you could just export all the assets together. That would be awesome.
I'm not gonna miss keeping everything in a single folder and moving it from computer to computer.
Yeah.
All right, here we are. And we are going to, I'm going to show you like a little bit of a sneak peek. This is me trying to record like a quick demo of the room. This is an audio video test, the new layout. Let's see what we got.
Hey, there is one more feature I want to talk about real quick. Once we get back.
You will. I'm with you.
I like that water shot.
See the computers in the background, no big deal. There you go.
Nice.
Perfect.
We're facing into the room this time.
Okay. You'll be able to see when the cops show up.
When he goes in DoorDash, there's a taco again.
True.
This is definitely so much more personable.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like just seeing this gives me so much more insight of what goes on at your house, even though I really don't.
You've got more than enough lighting there to fill little whole walls and do the whole room like I do too, Billy, if you ever want to go that route.
It'd be cool, you could cover them all in green. And then wait a second.
Paint the whole house. Paint it all. Furniture and everything.
Paint it all green and then get like chroma key glasses. So just like
Is that from your? Is that a webcam? Or is that from your
Man, every single angle looks legit too. That's
Yeah.
good.
Word
I
up,
also
guys.
love that you have 916 Jungles pillows. I'm just gonna call
Let's
that out.
see how that went.
Hey,
All the more reason to keep your
You know-
living space clean too.
You know what this would be really good
Hit
for?
it.
Like you could have people over and stream. You know what I mean?
That's part of the idea too. Is
Yeah.
it's
The
getting
world
to the
comes
point where we're gonna start visiting each other, and like I want to have something
Josh.
that is welcoming to like guests and things like that too, because that's where we're headed, right?
Oh, so every I don't know if you guys heard. Everybody in California over 16 is eligible starting on the 15th.
You bring
They're
me in
shot.
as well.
Nikki Painter noticed the throw pillow as well. Appreciate
That's
that,
a good
Moses.
merch. That's a good merch store plug. I mean, you could be having like that little,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
little
you got your
something hanging back
jab.
there. Yeah.
Right.
Oh man, I'm so jealous. I get mine next Tuesday.
Oh yeah, this is number 2.
Great excuse to keep your room clean too.
I got 1 week.
Very
See you on
true.
Sunday.
Nice.
Next week I'm getting mine.
Joshua Carl, was it Joshua Carl that said it looks more personable?
It does look
Yeah. I feel like I mean, I like green screens and stuff. Don't get me wrong. And one of the reasons why I do both is because I like that duality. And I think being able to see that, I feel like I know you a little bit better by seeing where you live. You know what I mean? Or seeing where you operate.
It's really funny to see that we're all kind of transitioning the same way in our own ways, right? Because now I'm pretty much, that's my A shot. My A shot these days is the full room cam on the Xbox Connect with chroma on the walls, right? And that's kind of the same thing. I'm just From the Annex gave me the same feedback the other day about some of those shots. So having a full room shot and then just kind of continuing on with some of those themes. Yeah, same idea, man. So big ups, Billy. I think it looks great.
Thanks.
It also goes back into like that head-on personal shot, like where if you were at a club and whatnot, and you could get near the booth, if that's a thing, you would see that shot. So it's a familiar shot to see. Like mine is always slightly up, you know, and it's this weird sort of like almost CCTV shot. I generally run. Yeah.
MySpace.
Oh,
But,
the high,
it's kind of full
high
circle.
Camera. You're talking about the up high camera, the
the chin hider.
Oh, right.
The chin hider.
The chin hider.
That's what beards are for, gentlemen.
You go.
That's what beards are for. Oh,
yeah,
snap.
I was gonna say it's come full circle because like before there was a before the green screen,
Right.
Junglist Channel.
No, so like you're seeing here, I can with the lights that I have now, I can absolutely key all those walls because I can evenly light my walls to any like E-Rock. We talked about this. I've been talking about using light. I actually used light to key before I ever bought my green screen, and it was a really terrible then because I didn't have the lights that I have now. But I feel like with the key lighting that I have now for the subject, and then the background lighting that I have for the walls, I can do a decent chroma key to like flip it to where the room all of a sudden like is doing some shit, right? Like, and obviously using DeLorean board for that.
DeLorean board for the win.
Right. And
Always.
But I feel like the main motivation behind what I was doing with this room is two things. One is I needed to live somewhere that felt comfortable, and this feels a lot more comfortable. And two, like someone else already mentioned, guests are going to be coming over, and this is definitely more inviting for company than the way that it was before.
I'm not coming over now because you called me.
I'm gonna go to the terminal.
Call me somebody. Somebody.
All right, I'm running away.
Is that Ratfink? I wasn't listening. I didn't see who it was in the chat.
Oh, okay. No, it's all right.
Have a good night, guys. I enjoyed it tonight.
See you.
E-Rock, big up, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, dude.
Be safe back in the office.
Yes,
You
be
do
safe over
wireless
there, brother.
testing on Zoom.
Nice.
Disco nap
This
zone.
is-
I love it.
This is the new one because I can't.
There's
I
the birthday
can't.
girl. She's like, why are you out? It's fucking midnight. Come to bed.
Good night, guys. Later. That's what I'm
See,
doing
man.
now. She's coming for me.
This was her idea. We just had it like the mug, up by the
Nice.
crack of noon.
That is my life right now.
The thing for us was like I don't like putting my name on things because I don't feel like sending somebody something and being like, here's something with my name on it you should wear. I just don't have that in me. So I was like, I need to be able to be like, you know, here's something kind of cheeky and fun that you won't be ashamed of having on your couch when people come over.
Kitty
Who
White,
does your printing?
I've been
We
making
did that.
flyers for 916 Junglist events for many years, but I've never been any kind of a good graphic designer. I still don't consider myself one, but most all of the assets that I use are me either creating something from scratch or jacking something and then putting my own twist into it, which is, you know, fucking DJing, honestly. So I'm kind of been doing the graphic design thing, but I've never really thought my shit was any good. This was something that was done with like a friend of mine when we were trying to learn how to use Photoshop together, like many years ago. And you know, I'm honestly like a lot of 916 Junglist's art has been like the piece behind me. This piece behind me is a real piece, 12 feet tall by 20 feet wide, by my homie Minus and Emer and Seppi. And so I'm fortunate to have we have a really amazing street artists in Sacramento, and I'm in full support of it. And I even tried dabbling in it myself with terrible results. And so that's been a blessing as far as like graphic design goes. I try to do my best. I'm meme worthy at the very most when it comes to my graphic design skills. I have no formal chops like Darth Vader down there and other people.
Have you been doing the Inside the Ride flyers? Because those are really good.
Thanks.
Cool.
Those
I look
are
forward to
good.
those.
I didn't do the illustrations. I'm composing the flyers, which are really simple to compose, but the illustrations are what make them look so good. And I didn't do the illustrations. Those are illustrations that I bought. So,
yeah. You know, that's how it works. That's the behind the scenes. That's the secret sauce, you know, behind the curtain sort of stuff.
Sure. But I'm not too proud, or I don't have an ego to admit it. Is that the right way to say it?
No, it's fine. I mean, you know, we didn't make all the music that we play.
Right.
No.
But I think
my
that's also
goal
why
and
you've got
my
a lot
hope is that there is some sort of an originality to what's being delivered here on the channel that is exclusive here.
Right.
Oh, definitely. No, I mean, and just composing something from parts, you know, becomes its own piece of art.
Absolutely. I agree.
This is three separate things Photoshop, 4 separate things all Photoshop together.
Yeah, it was there was no
a lot of time.
no
I can
bikini
tell.
bottom
Top
on that.
shelf. Top shelf right
I mean,
there.
I
Still
think
needs
that's
more
why a lot
thigh
of-
shadow, in my opinion. The thigh shadow is lacking, dude.
You want me to edit it live on
I
stream?
think I
Can you make it the drop avatars?
Nice.
Shouts
But
out
I
to
think
everyone in the
that's-
chat. Big up Knight Rider. Appreciate you. Kitty fucking White with the great questions today. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Your moms. Big up your moms. Big up Pin Up Kitchen. Appreciate you. Big up Moses. That's dope. People right there. Entity, what up? Nikki Painter, what up? Gypsy Kid, what up? Dude, there's some really good people in the chat. And the support for this channel is amazing. We've had a solid audience the whole time. You guys are awesome. We're almost about to wrap. Let me take a look at the notes and also throw it out to the chat and throw it out to the Zoom if there's anything else y'all wanted to highlight. Zoom first. Anything else y'all wanted to highlight in OBS 27?
Yeah, one more feature was the source visibility transitions.
Ooh, yeah.
So without even having to do like a full scene transition now, when you click on that little eye icon to hide a source asset, you can actually select how it gets hidden once you actually do transition to live. So, and that includes those new stinger effects that have been added too. So you can add all sorts of swipes and fade-ins and different things now. And so that way, you know, if you're using your LioranBoard to have a button that hides a logo, instead of it just disappearing, you can have
Why do
it
I feel like
swipe.
it's the only reason you want
It
to
has a
talk
ton
about
of
this?
pre-built ones that are like, you know, basic swipes, circle swipes, fades, a couple different types of fades instead of just like linear ones. But then there's also the custom ones that include even the new type of stinger transitions that they've allowed. So you can get really crazy with it. And it's super simple, super simple.
I tried to make so like I mentioned earlier, my new follower alert, my new follower alert is built 100% on that transition. And what I wanted to happen is I wanted the user picture to slide, and I wanted the username and the follower alert to swipe in, and then I wanted the background to actually come through by using a track mat stinger. And what I ran into, and this is going to take some time to figure out, the text file is a weird, ever-changing size. So, like, if somebody follows you and their name is Smith, like, it's going to be that big. but the transition stinger that goes over it is always going to be the same size. So the reveal is going to look weird if the name's either really short or really long. And I made about 30 different versions of the stinger track mat transition for text, and I could not get it right. So I just moved back to a swipe in and swipe out. But things that are like square and relatively like standardized sizes that never change, dope. I had a really cool like a lightning thing, like lightning swept down and revealed it on a swipe. It looked really
That's
dope,
tight.
but it just didn't match the rest of it. I couldn't have like lightning and then have like it slide in. Like if you're gonna have lightning, you gotta have like smoke or something to go with it. So, but it
You have the superhero landing, the one knee,
in the
That's
crack
good to know,
floor.
though.
Yeah.
So yeah, as long as you're not relying on dynamic text or something that needs a dynamic size or something, you might have a better shot at it being
Right. One of the things I found too, if you're doing the design work on this yourself, don't be afraid to render your files out in the actual size of whatever you're trying to affect. You know what I mean? Like I fell into this at first. I was rendering everything at either 1280 by 720 or whatever, but the thing in the middle was 4:3. I'm like, why don't I just render this out at 480 by 480? It's only going to be this big on my screen. I don't need it to be 1080p or 960
now
by
your
960.
asset is that much smaller.
Right. And then I was like rendering everything out for like playback kilobit resolution. So if I'm doing like a 1080p file, I was rendering it at like 11,000 kilobits, because that's what I do for music videos. And I'm like, I don't need that kind of resolution on a swipe.
Right.
So don't be afraid to experiment, especially if your GPU is, like already sweating. Like, get it down small, bring it down nice, small and tight, and then if it looks like shit, then you just eke it up a little bit.
Bit budgeting is a real art. Like bit budgeting, when you're pushing your system to the max, is where it's at. Like once you start learning how to do things, and then you learn that once you start doing too many things, it breaks stuff. Your reaction is two different things, and it should be a combination of both. One, do a little bit less, and two, like understand like how to maximize the assets that you're using. Doing things like Fader was saying, render things down to your output resolution, and also like what Joshua Carl was saying, if you have a smaller asset, render things down to a smaller resolution in order to save the bit budget. You know what I'm saying? Like that's absolutely how you get the performance that you're looking for out of what you have. Moving into closing arguments, ladies and gentlemen. Is OBS 27 ready? I'm going to say no myself. I think that the verdict is basically like a thumb sideways. What do y'all think?
Yeah, no, I'd give it like a sideways, if not like slightly up for max.
I used it tonight.
Ask me tomorrow when I install it on my PC.
3/4 thumb. Love it.
The only hiccup I had tonight was something triggered one of my color correction filters, and I have no idea what or how. I had to go while playing. I had to go back in and find them and untick them.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it was fine. I had no problems. Trigger Fire, on the other hand, can go fuck themselves.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Was it a compatibility with
my new hot favorite?
No, it's the third time, if not the fifth time, that nothing was rendering. I'd get the first frame on everything, and I don't think it had anything to do with OBS. It's done it before over the last. I've been using that since day one. I've been using that since I was on the Max, and I maybe came off a little harsh. I'm sorry. It's still fresh. The Band-Aid was just recently ripped. I mean, I just finished my stream 3 hours ago, so I'm still sitting there. New people EVGA shows up in my stream. Hey, what's up, man? Stream looks dope. Some things happening with them. Super excited. They go to render something. It goes whomp, and I'm like, fuck beans. Like, come on. Like,
that's how you get video cards from them.
Well, no, I didn't get one free, but I got one. But it was just that moment where I was just like, dude, I have so many streams where there's 6 of us and everything works fine. I have a good stream and EVG shows up and they try to do one thing and it doesn't fucking work. And I'm like, trigger fire! Damn it. So, and the thing is honestly, I don't know why I still use it, because I don't need to offload my rendering anymore for those things. It's just a solution. Like you said earlier, Billy, I don't want to go back and like re-dig up the stuff I did when I first started building my scenes, because that means I have to redo them all over again. But you know what? I only have a dozen things there. I'm gonna take them off, move them into Subaru board, and then just see where it goes from there.
Right. See what happens. I'm definitely taking this opportunity with this new layout, this new no green screen layout, I actually created a new scene collection for that last series that you saw. And all of that 1 minute scene switch thing was all done in LioranBoard. Super simple to do. But yeah, I've already noticed that there is a massive reduction in resources from starting over and having a plan of attack versus I'm just going to figure it out as I go, building a scene.
Throw some shit at a wall, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Throw some shit at a wall is a great way to put it. And so...
Some green shit at a wall.
Yeah, all the green shit.
That describes 2020 right there.
Yeah, right.
Like an inside wall, though, because
Right.
you can't go out.
Like that big green wall.
When you guys caught the little bit of Sushi Dragon today, did you happen to see the part when he was showing his OBS and his
reality versus
for his
expectation?
Yeah.
Well, that he does that all the time too. But he has the screen commands for his buttons. That shit, man. I looked at that and my jaw just dropped. Like, oh my fucking god! And then he was showing pictures of like when he first started. There's like a picture of him just buried in wires, and I'm not exaggerating. He's buried in wires, like, and he's streaming in a closet. And then now he's got the rack-mounted computers and.
What's he using for his scene switcher? Do you know?
I don't know. I think he does it with his voice. Like he's using that voice command system.
He's got the hand things, and
well, he's got the button. Yeah,
Yeah, he uses like everything.
He's got.
He also has
the dude is wearing a laptop on his back, a computer on his
with
damn
battery
back.
pack. He upgraded. He has a DLSR here now. He
got a
used to have like a little
DLSR.
webcam. He's got like a DLSR strapped to his body,
that's
and then he
so
has an
ridiculous.
iPhone or an iPad here, like on a 45-degree angle, and then he's got his output on his little iCam there.
Dude, I'm glad.
It's insane.
I'm glad Sushi Dragon exists.
Yeah.
Because there has to be that pinnacle that has to exist in order for there to be a dynamic spectrum of doing weird shit on stream that's like over the top and unnecessary.
He's
My
doing
favorite
the
part
most.
when he showed his like GPU, the shit was like at 79% pinned.
Just
And I'm like, oh,
fucking-
phew.
Wow.
I get nervous when I go over 30.
Yeah, and it was funny. I even said in the chat, like he was explaining something. I forget what it was. Like how he designed all the effects for something, and it had like I don't know if it's not a flow chart, but it's like this.
That's what I saw
that
too.
controls, like,
It was all the things.
a
Yeah.
million different effects, and then like he's like being real serious about it, and then he's like talking, and then all of a sudden he just goes, "Ah!" and then he does something wacky, crazy, and I'm like, everything like serious just degrades into like wackiness, and someone was like, "Well, that's how LSD works."
Word up.
It's crazy.
Yo, great show today, guys. It was great talking to y'all. Man, today we talked about lots of good stuff, and I'm super happy that y'all came through and shared your experiences. Admittedly, I was bummed because the show that I had planned was like OBS new features walkthrough. I was gonna have some scenes with like us using OBS together and like going through these new features together, and then it just didn't happen. OBS is not happy with my config, and so I'm gonna wait until OBS 27 is in a little bit better shape before I can actually stream with it and do on-air examples with it. So hopefully that's a future episode. But I gotta say, like, y'all made it the best episode like possible. Like, this was a great talk on the new features, including real experiences with the Mac OS version, and just all around like really knowledgeable talk, like in debate on like some of these topics. Super dope. And so I appreciate y'all. Big up to Joshua Carl, big up Ratfink, big up Meta Pattern, big up the Librarian, big up Entity, big up my man Darth Vader, and yo, seriously, like, I really enjoy you guys' experience and knowledge in this subject matter. So thank you so much. And Ratfink, real quick question for you. How long before the VR DJ redemption on Inside the Ride?
We're already drumming that up.
Yes.
Well, I got I got my green screen hanging. It's not taken down. So soon.
Soon.
I think I might.
Is what we get. We get soon. We get.
Well, I gotta do more testing. So I think tonight I might go on for a little bit and do like the stripped down version, where it's not the custom avatar, and just to make sure like the base works.
Mm-hmm.
Before adding stuff on again, because I did one
vinyl flicking to a minimum.
No, that's absolutely happening. That's my favorite thing.
That was awesome.
Because I did one. Kevin, when was that? Like a couple weeks ago. Whenever I did that
week and a half
one,
ago.
and it still crashed. It only crashed once, but it still crashed. So yeah, I'm gonna strip it down to the bare bits, and then do kind of one at a time, build it back up. So I don't know, a couple of weeks. I don't know what's the I guess I got to figure out what the schedule looks like for Inside the Ride.
Well, let's try to get you in before June 15th. How about that?
Okay.
All right.
I can do that. What's June 15th?
Everything's opening, right?
That's when everything opens up in California.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, if everybody does everything correctly, which they're not going to fucking.
June 16th. That's his date, guys. June 16th.
All right. So,
yep.
Real
How about
quick.
May 1st? How about May 1st?
What was I gonna do? I just had it on my screen.
Is that a Saturday?
Already.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So speaking of Saturday,
I'll do
Inside the
May Day.
Ride this coming Saturday. Holy crap! What a lineup! I forgot to mention it earlier. It's an all producer lineup, so there's gonna be a lot of original material. It's gonna be dub plate heavy this Saturday.
Ooh.
And it's gonna be Job Little, so it's gonna be that Job Little's fucking dope. Big up Job Liddy. We got Dream. That's going to be crazy. Cool. We've got John Tetley all the way out in the UK.
Wow, really?
And we've got David Owen from V Recordings going to be on as well.
Oh,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Deep bigs up John Tetley like all the time. So that's a big get.
This is going to be
but Ratfink, when are you playing?
a crazy
No
lineup this Saturday. Expect a lot of exclusive stuff that you won't hear anywhere else. Maybe even some like testing it out stuff that isn't quite done yet, prototype type material. It's going to be super dope. So it's going to be on a wide spectrum of appreciation of drum and bass too, like a wide spectrum of drum and bass. So this is going to be super fun.
Nice.
Billy, can I say one thing real quick?
Yeah.
Thank you for having this show and continuing to do this show, and to give a chance for nerds like us to talk about cool shit with you, and for hopefully the people in the chat to find some value in the things that we say and the experiences we have and the answers that we can provide some people, more than just hanging around for a shout out. So I appreciate you.
Hey, thanks, man. That means a lot. Appreciate you too, man.
I can't believe 70 people won't watch this.
Seriously. That's what
Is that how many people are watching? I honestly, I I have not looked at the number in a while. I have it off on OBS on purpose.
Yeah,
And
I just clicked over to the stream and saw it.
that's amazing. Thank you so much, y'all, for watching. That's incredible. Let's write a raid love letter. I want to send 70 people to Corinne.
Yes.
And so we need to write Corinne a love letter. I'm going to be on the Jungle Cruise on 4/19, cruising into 4/20, going back over to the Jungle Cruise. And big up Corinne and Duchess. I love the Jungle Cruise on Mondays.
They're so dope.
They're super dope, and they're genuinely nice people. Like, these are good people. They're dope. Corinne and Duchess are both super dope. Big up Lauren and Corinne. Okay, so let's go ahead and rate in
the letter of the
letter. Yeah,
is S.
What's that
for her? The letter.
The letter is S.
Her letter is S. So if we could try to
Okay.
maybe do some words that have the word
Okay,
letter S in it.
chat, help me out. Zoom, help me out. The letter is S. Dearest Corinne. Raid. Parentheses.
Yeah, salutations.
Please
That's a good one.
Read this on stream.
That's a good one. Pinup Kitchen. Salutations.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. Salutations, Corinne.
Super stoked to come back on 4/19.
Oh, I spelled citations correctly. That's fucking amazing.
Get it.
Hey. Switch Jameson.
Wow. Right.
Don't you love that when you spell something right and you're like, oh, this auto spell check must be broken.
Yeah, I thought I fucking wasn't. Yeah, exactly. I was about to Google it just to make sure. On that note, let me just take it just small Jameson break real quick here.
No, it's when you spelled something so.
I've spelled something wrong so many times that my auto correct doesn't even fucking try to fix it anymore.
Yep.
Like the word surprise, I cannot for the life of me spell the word surprise.
So super stoked. Now I'm out of S words. That's it. That's all I got.
To be spending.
There's some recommendations in chat.
Your birthday with
Stream
you
time.
in a couple weeks.
This stream time.
There you go.
Successfully.
What?
Super stream raid coming your way. Stay sexy and sip Swisky.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
That's from Pinup Kitchen.
It's
Tim
time.
Kitchen's
Stream
killing
time.
it right now.
Yeah.
Sexy. Wait, where is it at? Where was that at? I missed it.
Hold on
Pinup
a
Kitchen
second.
above entity, above the butt, and big up your moms.
Super stream raid coming your way. Stay sexy and sip Swisky. Oh, that's fucking beautiful. Okay, dude.
Sonic Boom.
Pumpkin Kitchen.
Yeah, Sonic Boom.
Oh, hell yes. Okay.
Nice.
Dude, she is good. She's better than average on Marvel vs. Capcom. She is better than average on Marvel vs. Capcom. Just want to put that out there. She has her team. She knows, because Marvel vs. Capcom, for those that don't know fighting games, Marvel vs. Capcom, you pick 3 fighters to fight against 3 other fighters. And depending on the combo of fighters that you pick, there's exclusive things that are available to that team. And she has her team that does a certain thing. It's fucking hilarious.
Synergy. Put that in there somewhere.
Okay. On it. Yes. This is a stream. So.
My team is just 3 Spider-Mans pointing at each other.
Super stream raid coming your way.
Nice.
Stay sexy and sip Swisky. Synergy. Well, let's see here. What are we going to say about synergy? Synergy is important.
I don't know.
Super important.
Synergy is super. Synergy is super.
Synergy is my streetwalker name.
Oh, Lord.
Synergy is simple and essential. All right. Synergy is simple. Big up
Yeah,
Justin.
Aaron's got the winning comment.
Where's Aaron at? Suckerin Succotash. Oh, that's got to be the final. Suckerin.
It's
Succotash.
It's suffering, but it's okay.
Yeah, it is.
It is suffering.
Suffering.
Succotash, huh? Yeah, it is right. Let's put suffering. Let's do it correctly.
Joshua can't handle comic book and cartoon inconsistency.
Hell no!
Continuity, bro.
What if Sylvester the cat showed up? He'd be like, "Yo, it's suffering." Right?
Salutations, Corinne. Please read this on stream. So super stoked to be spending this stream time. Super stream raid coming your way. Stay sexy and sip Swisky. Synergy is simple. Suffering, succotash. That's a beautiful letter right there.
Sonic Boom.
Sonic Boom. All caps.
Alliteration aside.
I love it.
All right. This is how it works, y'all. If you don't know, this is how we do it. Copy and paste this into Corinne's stream. We're going to hit her ridiculously hard. You can go ahead and do a practice copy paste into the chat right now to make sure that everything is working correctly. I am going to get my copy pasta ready and also find Corinne, who is definitely DJing right now. Let's make her day. She deserves it. This is an amazingly talented individual and super dope person as well. Can't say enough good things about Corinne. Somebody who I've only recently met in real life. And we get along amazingly. So we're raiding into Corinne right now. We'll be back on Friday for a stream that I'm really nervous about. So I hope you come through on Friday because it's the first time without a green screen in the better part of 7 months. And I want to say thank you to all of the chat, everybody in the Zoom. This has been DJs Not DJing. We do this every single Wednesday starting at 6:16 p.m. Pacific, 9:16 p.m. Eastern. And I appreciate y'all for locking in. Thank you very much. Big up to all the subs, all the follows, all the raids, all the bits, everything else, keeping the lights on. That's real love. Thank you so much. We out. Peace.
Thank you. Peace.
Poop, 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 poop.
I'm scissoring.
ATL Inside the Ride takeover in May. Let's go.
Shot call.